Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 37. Today we are going to be talking about Herbert West Reanimator. I guess this is just Reanimator. The original story is called Herbert West Reanimator, that it's based on. Loosely based on.
Very loosely based, just like
based on.
like another Stuart Gordon movie that he made afterwards, From the Beyond, which was based on H.P. Lovecraft's story. And by based on a H.P. Lovecraft story, I mean the prologue of the movie is the story. Because it's a really short story.
We found that though with The Pit and the Pendulum, didn't we? Although that was Poe and Lovecraft. Yeah. They took a little thing and spread it out across the whole movie, and it really kind of worked.
Yeah, it works. It can work sometimes.
It's the best way to do it.
Like, I think Room 1408 was a short story too. They turned that into a 2.5-hour movie. It might even be better to do it that way when you consider like things like Jurassic Park. Still a great movie.
But the book's like...
Yeah, the book, like, way different. A lot more, like, complications, a lot more... Well, I don't want to say a lot more death, but a lot more, like, crucial death, like, Hammond? No, not Hammond.
Richard Hammond. Yeah, Richard
No,
Hammond.
Malcolm dies. Definitely Malcolm.
Yeah, he dies, and also, I can't remember the name of the guy who ran the park, the old dude, he also died.
That was Hammond, wasn't it? Not
Yeah,
Hammond.
Hammond. Yeah, he gets eaten by...
I'm thinking the guy from Top Gear.
The little guys.
Yeah.
The ones that I guess eat the family or whatever in the second movie, but anyway, it's dumb.
Yeah, well, because apparently, like when he wrote the book, when he wrote The Lost World in Jurassic Park, I think he had to like retcon it because they were making a movie. Like, they're making like I don't know how it all came out or whatever, but he was just like had to retcon it. It was like, it's like Dr. Malcolm is back, and someone mentioned he's like, doctors can do great things. Like, and then he wasn't really dead. He was sleeping.
It reminds me of the end of Muppet Christmas Carol, which incidentally now the weather's starting to get colder. I feel the draw to watch once again.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, there's a bit at the end where they go, and Tiny Tim, and he goes, Tiny Tim, who did not die. It's like, Dr. Malcolm, who did not die.
He was fine. I think I read somewhere that like, they brought back, do you remember, like, everyone's, as they get older, their favourite character starts to morph into the hunter, like the English guy. Who's like, they should all be put down, kill the raptors, they're fucking dangerous. Clever guy, that guy.
Jurassic Park.
I think
like in the Muppet Show. What the fuck?
And then
the puppets.
Mr. Muldoon survived as well, and had Christmas with the Muppets.
There you go.
I've just set fire to my career.
I will say, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm saying negative things about him, but Michael Crichton managed to make a lot of money out of one idea, which was basically theme park goes wrong. Westworld, Jurassic Park 2. What was the other Westworld? There was Beyond Westworld or Future World, whatever it's called.
Something like, hey, you're forgetting the amazing contribution to cinema as well in Congo.
Oh, of course, yes. My bad. He also wrote a book I've read, which was like... Because I was trying to get into Crichton because I started with Stephen King and then Jurassic Park and everything. I was kind of like, oh, this Crichton guy might be good. So I read a book about him and I can't remember what it was, but it was literally a guy who apparently has some kind of thing in his brain and it makes him like evil. And I was like, this feels a bit dodgy.
Starts to Google.
It was something called like the something man, I think. Something man.
Something man. Evil man.
The bye-bye man.
Not Dark Man. Dark Man's good.
Did you read Eaters of the Dead?
Eaters of the Dead? No.
Oh, that was a good one.
What?
I know everyone who's eating meat is an eater of the dead. I get it, but no, it's a really good story about it was a Middle Eastern. I don't want to say. I mean, he was Muslim, but I don't consider that like a nationality, so I don't really know what to say. But he was definitely like in that area. And he did something bad, and he got exiled as a not an interpreter, and a diplomat, ambassador of that country he's from to like Scandinavia. So he meets Vikings. So you have like this massive culture clash between those two, and it's actually really cool. It's really well done. It's not like like hyper violent or whatever. They get along, and then they go on an adventure together, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, they adapted that into a film. It's called The 13th Warrior.
13th Warrior. Yep.
Yeah, that was
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, that was quite fun. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, I watched it like 2 weeks ago. It's still great. I love that movie so much.
It's not a world beat or anything, but it's a fun movie. Like
it's a
the
fun
characters
adventure
are fun.
movie. It's got culture. It's got humor. It's got action.
People die.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very fun.
Then they get eaten.
Yeah, then they eat them. It's like, what's that like? Seems to happen a lot on this podcast with people getting eaten. But I mean, the movies we watch. The movies we watch, not actual people. The book you were thinking of, Tom, is The Terminal Man.
Terminal Man, that's it. Yeah.
So he may not have like 100% hits on his books, but like I'm gonna say Jurassic Park and before. I don't know anything about Congo. I didn't read Congo, but like Andromeda Strain, Sphere, Eaters of the Dead, obviously, and Jurassic Park, and I think there was another one that I read that was really good. I can't remember what it was, so I'm not going to include that in the list. But there are some good Michael Crichton books, and I do recommend exploring more. Don't let whichever one that you read, like The Terminal Man, stop you.
Oh yeah, I might. Well, maybe when Stephen King stops making books, which will be a sad day, because pretty much I read him exclusively at the moment.
No, he's not going to stop until he's dead.
He'll die. He will, and then he'll stop writing books. But another book will come out like 10 years after his death.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Well, he's still quite prolific, isn't he? He's still writing a lot.
Yeah, he's got another book coming out this year called
he's got
Adaptations.
loads.
I'm looking forward to it.
The guys.
What else did he release this year? He released The Outsider, which was good. It wasn't bad.
And then he's got Elevations coming out as well.
It's the definition of good. It wasn't bad.
I do that sometimes too. I just catch myself. I'm like, that was dumb.
I can read you nearly every Stephen King book in one paragraph, and that is really good premise, great characters, bit of a shit ending.
Yeah,
that's literally everyone, and The Outsider was no exception. The ending was kind of a bit toss.
That's always been his problem. Like he's been a guy that's always had like really good ideas, and then it gets to the execution. You just go. The Stand. Like, I love The Stand. Like the first half is brilliant. Like when there's the epidemic and people are just dying, and then you find out some people are immune to it, and it's just all the chaos. And then then you go past the apocalypse, and then people starting to trying to create society again. But then you got good people, and bad people, and lots of silly things. I mean, Randall Flagg's a lot of fun. But then it keeps building up to like this big climactic thing, and the ending is like unbelievably silly, really fucking silly.
Yeah,
really silly.
But I'm trying to write a book at the moment, and so I spend a lot of time on the subreddit for writing. It's r/writing, funnily enough, and lots of people on there talk about two different kinds of authors. They're the people who plan everything out meticulously, sort of like, here's my start, here's my end, here's what's going to happen along the way. And then there are other people who are discovery writers. They come with an idea or a premise, they sit down, and then they follow it wherever it goes, and it kind of comes to them. And Stephen King self-professed he is a discovery writer. And I think the problem is, because I'm not a discovery writer, I think discovery writing blows. But that's because I'm thinking, here's the goal, here's where we're going to get to. While he's like, I'm on a mystical journey following my characters, writing down what they're doing. It's all happening, and I'm the scribe, I guess. And it's like, that's really cool, but maybe think about the ending just a little bit.
So, yes, just so you don't just go, and then God saves them.
Yeah.
And he sets fire to them, he electrocutes them, the hand of God saves them. But they've got blown up anyway.
Well, yeah, they have a nuclear weapon, don't they? But they have no means to set it off. So, like,
God just goes, I'm gonna save you.
And then we cut back to the people who didn't go to, like, the desert in the first place, and they're like, oh, I guess now we're just gonna live, I guess.
Thank God.
Thanks.
It's radiated now. So two things we got to worry about. The plague and radiation.
I'm not a writer, but I have thought of writing a book a long time ago, and recently it always pops up in my head, like, I should write this book. a lot of the times, though, I realize that the book I want to write has already been written. It's pretty much the entire Dragonlance saga. So anyway, but my point is, when I think about writing a book, it's somewhere in between planning and discovery, though, because I think it'd be better, and again, I'm not a writer, so this is a waste of your time. I'm not a writer, and I think that you should have an ending in mind before you start, though. That should be like flat out rule number one. Know where this is going, so you can have a story that'll end. And then have the beginning can just be at any point up until that ending. So like my idea would be like an outline with a beginning, a middle, and an ending, and you just fill in the blanks in between. Yep. That's where the discovery part comes from.
It's
but
a bit of both.
You know where it's going. You know where it's supposed to be. Unlike other people who what's his name, George R. Martin.
Well, I feel like the same thing goes for TV as well. A series that sets out knowing, even if it's going to be a 5-season show, they go, look, we know it's going to be 5 seasons, but we've got a definite ending.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They can lay subtle hints. Like, without going into details, my book has got a major plot twist, and I'm really, really, really trying hard to lead the reader in one direction and then pull the rug at the end,
And go, aha!
Exactly.
Behind door number 3 all the time.
But the point of that is there has to be subtle clues in there, and you can't put those clues in if you don't know what the twist is if you just write it, oh my god,
and then this happened instead.
We've got to season 3 and I've decided now he's, his uncle's brother's son or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, I think a good example is something like Lost. Yeah. Where once it was finished, I think seasons 1, 2, and 3 are still fantastic, and elements of as silly as it was. Which one was it when they went back in time? Is it season 5? And it was like you've never seen it, and it turns out they ended up working for the Dharma Initiative, which was like this. They find like the ruins of like their research stations and everything on the island, and it turns out they actually end up working for them. It's all it's silly, but it was still really interesting. But the thing is the final season is a complete and total fucking train wreck. When they pulled this like half-assed explanation out their ass, went, I brought you all here because I thought you were all good people that might be able to replace me as guardian of the island. And you go, that doesn't seem like what you were doing. Well, because you're doing a pretty shit job. That's part of the
reason why I haven't watched Lost is because people say to me it was really good, and I think that was in the kind of the area where the writers were discovery writing, and they were finding things that are like, let's throw in a polar bear because wow, shocker or whatever.
Yeah, and the monster as well.
It's fine the whole time you're riding the wave, but when you get to the beach, if the beach is like covered in shit, then
Actually, I think it might be season 5 when there's like time travel as silly as it is, but there's a moment really in season 5, like the finale, like that's perfect. I end it there. I would something happens, I go, that's your ending.
Oh, that's a shame.
Right there.
That's kind of like we were talking before with Death Note. There's a definite end point there, and you've missed it.
Keeps going, yeah. Well, and the problem with Lost as well is that the writers came out, I think it was a couple of years afterwards, and they basically admitted that they were making up as they went along. And that's like for any kind of mystery show that has people really hooked, that is the absolute worst way to write anything. Because if you just like
the easiest way.
It is, because it's like, why are there like Egyptian ruins, and what is the monster? Oh, it's just this. Yeah.
Well, that, and it's like if you don't know what you're writing, there's no way the audience can guess, which keeps them guessing.
Yeah, because then that's true. But then you end up doing, like you were saying, Tom, like just like it was his brother all along.
Well, the problem with what Chris just said is exactly what happened with Westworld season 2, which
I
is where
I'm not sure. So I want to get around to it.
People guessed the twist in season 1, so on Reddit fairly early. But the problem is that the makers of the show saw that and they said, okay, season 2, we're going to make it so abstract, so presented in such a non-linear, fucked up, jumbled way that no one could possibly guess. And the problem is, right, that if people can guess your story, that's okay. Because stories have clues and hints, and someone is bound to guess it. It doesn't make it any, less enjoyable for us to go on the journey. And some of the people who didn't get it will go, when you want them to. And some people will be, I knew it all along. But it's fine, because it always felt like the story was going that way. Season 2,
that's absolutely fine.
They deliberately made it so that people couldn't guess it. So it's obtuse, it's bloated, It's convoluted. It's in a weird order for no reason whatsoever, other than to confuse you. There's no narrative reason for it at all.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just go. You were wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
It's smarter than
very much kind of a gotcha thing.
The writers are just defensive. That's all it is. Like they take it as a personal insult that their story was guessed immediately, and I think we could all understand that, because I know that if I was like, I'm telling you a story, and then someone's like, I know the ending of your story, and it's like, well, I guess I might as well not tell the story then. But at the same time, like, you could have those cool, like, TV show watching parties where it's like everyone's watching Lost, and there's that one guy who's like, I know what's going on here. I'm pretty sure I got this. And then by the end of the show, he's like, I got it. It was awesome. And everyone's like, man, how did you read that? You know, that's so crazy. Let's have popcorn and pizza and be cool and be friends and stuff.
And then because there's things like, because if, like you were saying to him, if there's like hints and stuff.
Yeah.
If I was a showrunner or the director or the producer or the screenwriter or whatever, and I'm like, okay, we've put these little hints in to see if people figure out. And if they did, I'd just be really happy that people were invested enough in what I created.
Yeah.
That they took the time out of they took their own free time to debate it online, to watch it back and go, oh, that links to the, oh shit, oh, this does this, and this.
Except for my book. If any of you cunts work out my book, you're dead.
You are dead.
Well,
wow.
Come and get me, bitch.
I'm just playing, of course.
He's not.
Anyway, that was a really productive and decent kind of discussion about story writing. So now I feel almost kind of glib in saying we've earned the right to talk about shit that doesn't matter. So what have you guys been up to?
Let's see. Okay. Oh, I did want to bring this up last week, but it's hardly relevant now. But it won't be relevant by the time our listeners hear this. Dead by Daylight. They've released some new. I may have already brought this up, I don't remember. They released some new DLC where you can play as a grudge monster with a Japanese mansion and everything.
Ooh.
And I'm like,
That's cool.
except I don't ever want to play that game.
This is the same game we were talking about before, right? That has kind of different skins based on different horror properties.
Yes, it's like different monsters and slasher villains, and they have like different powers. I know you brought that up as well. Friday the 13th, the game is free at the moment if you've got PlayStation Plus.
Yes, it is, yeah.
So me and my friends have got it, and we're actually going to play it after the podcast, so
nice.
that could be fun. There's only two of us that are going to play it, because one of them's in Bournemouth, and the other guy is just like, I need to clear space on my hard drive. So you go into?
I need to.
Well, I need to.
I'm thinking about it.
Just do it. If you don't want to play it, just say it's fine.
Yeah.
Just say I don't really want to play it. It's fine. They're going, oh yes. It's like it always happens, and it's like, oh, we're gonna get it. So you're gonna get it? Yeah, I'll get it at some point.
That's
So can I plan that at like some point October?
Like, just if you don't want to play it with us, that's fine. We're not gonna get like offended.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you not want to play this game with us?
It's funny because like I've got a big friend circle that likes playing that game, and they were like, "Here, Chris, we want you to play it with us," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to."
I hate you guys.
I
Good for you
keep
for being
telling them
upfront
that.
about it.
Yeah, I keep telling them that, but then they just like, "What if we bought it for you?" I'm like, no,
No.
I don't think I want to play it. Like the only thing.
Yeah,
I
that's
do is
different. That's yeah.
I'd play Bugsy, and I'd try to hit Jason as much as possible. I would try to tank him. You know, I wouldn't even care. I don't want to survive. I want to.
This is where you barter a little bit. Okay, you say, yeah, you could buy the game for me, and if someone paid for my PS Plus, and someone paid for my electric bill, then yeah, I'll play it all day. It's fine.
Yeah. And then they go ahead and make the fucking thing free on PlayStation Plus. So now it's like I don't even have an excuse.
Fuck.
I went ahead and just put it in my library. I didn't download it, but I put it in my library because it's a free game.
Yeah, I do like that you don't have to just outright download it. It's like add to library. Like every free game, it's like add to library. I might play it at some point.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing as well.
Like I still have Infamous Second Light or whatever from like the beginning of the PS Plus thing. It's still there
to
free
play
and
that.
complete, and I just never played the damn thing.
I think it's because Second Son was just quite forgettable.
Second Son, that's what it was. Not
Yeah,
or was it? Second Light?
There was one called
The one with the
First
girl on
Light,
the cover.
Oh, that's
something.
yeah, it was oh, I know the one you mean though. It was like the expansion, but yeah, the main game was just kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the new character, the new protagonist.
Yeah, Infamous 1 was bad.
I mean, Infamous 1, I love Infamous 1 and 2 like this.
It was bad. Fight me.
Objective opinions.
It's better than
He's
fucking
got a pencil.
Prototype.
Shit, he's got a weapon.
At least I actually cared about what was going on in Infamous. Like Prototype's like, why am I doing this? Because you just hate everything.
Yeah, I remember playing Prototype 1. It was
It's like, I've got to fight the evil government by murdering civilians. Like,
Yeah, the entire city. Eating
Like,
mostly.
what you're reading, it's like, you play as an anti-hero. I'm like, I don't think you know what an anti-hero means.
No, Matt, he's a bad guy because he's got a hood, okay? He wears a hoodie.
Yeah.
That makes him
Shoot
half bad guy, half good guy.
Yeah, of course,
Shoot
yeah.
eyes up.
I love it though. It's like, anti-hero, like, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, I will admit that Nathan Cole, was that his name?
Cole McGrath.
Cole McGrath.
He looked like Phil Mitchell.
Yeah, he was a better character than the guy in the other game we just talked about. But I really hated his best friend, who was like an Elvis impersonator. I really hated him.
Was it like Travis or something? His name, wasn't it?
Know.
It's like, fuck off, Travis.
Tractor,
He's better in the. He's actually better in the second one. He actually has a purpose.
The other thing is that I didn't like. Okay, you could either like clean the water for the orphanage, or you could burn it down or something.
It's getting
and
power.
It's like, why don't I just leave the orphanage alone? They seem to have it bad enough as it is. Why do I have to make this worse to get evil points? You know?
Don't forget it, good and evil are entirely binary, and you're either one or the other.
Yeah, there's never, no one's ever going to play it and go, I'm going to do a mixture of both. It's like, don't do that, because then you'll get fuck all powers.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be neutral. You have to go, I'm super good, or I'm super bad.
Yeah.
And going super good is always harder, because you have to, like, really manage the collateral damage as much as possible, whereas super bad, you can just blow up cars.
Yeah, I mean, there was that. That was
and you have, like, arc lightning, so you're going to hit cars no matter what.
That was one thing I liked about playing it as good, because the fact that you had to kind of try and, even when you're like in these insane battles, you had to try and protect the civilians. It made you feel like a superhero, because you were thinking, well, I can't fight them here. I can't use that here because it's going to fucking kill people. Yeah. Whereas when you're evil, it's like just unlimited power, just like force lightning everything.
I did like draining electricity though. That was cool. Like
That's
finding
cool,
a transformer box and just being like, shh, I'm full again. That was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
You could absorb it from the power lines while you travel too, so that was like a very nice game mechanic. So like, if you're on your way to somewhere, you don't have to stop off to drain anything. You're just getting it from the power lines. That was cool.
Just basically like, I'm taking electricity. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, bill
Were
me.
You streaming? Not anymore.
No porn for you.
Yeah. No matter what you're a villain in that game, they shouldn't even give you the choice.
Could you imagine if they built it though? So it's like when you're good, you can't like drain energy from like certain sources, because like, no, you've just deprived someone of like their heart monitor.
Shut down a hospital.
What would those certain sources be though? Like you said, hospital obviously off limits. But what about the slums? Would that be okay? Does it hurt people that matter?
Yeah, they're dead anyway. No, let God sort them out.
Yeah.
That was
actually
good.
Like target rich mansions only. Like, okay, they have They have so much money. It doesn't matter if we hurt them. Just take all their energy. What is it?
I know. And I like that. Because when you're evil, you can actually drain energy from people.
Yeah.
And it's fucking brutal, because you like hold them down, and then you have to keep mashing the buttons. He like slowly puts his hand over their face and just like drains their energy from them.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's fucking nasty.
Yeah. I was just going to the park. What are you talking about?
Like, I need energy. You'll do.
That's what's funny about these games where they give you binary choices between good or evil, because eventually you're going to add up your total to either you are good or you are bad, and you're never going to get the ending where it's like, you saved everyone, but we still remember you killed those two guys.
You mean like Fallout 3 promised? It's like, no, it's got loads of endings. The endings being, the Lone Wanderer did this and this. He was a pretty nice guy, but he wouldn't make the ultimate sacrifice of walking into an irradiated fucking room when he has a massive fucking super mutant standing behind him.
A guy he found in a irradiated bunker, by the way.
That's literally, like, he's introducing the game to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, and because when you ask him, he's like, it's not my journey. It's not my destiny. You going, ah! Although I do like the fact you can convince the female officer from the Brotherhood of Steel's doing. It's like, go on, you go and do it for me. And she's like, I think I should. But it's like my favourite moment in the game is if you have enough charisma, is when you come face to face with evil President Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, I remember. The machine. He's a robot,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
And I like the reveal. It's like, oh, he's a fucking supercomputer. I'm like, makes sense. That's a cool reveal. And it's like, if you've got enough charisma, you can convince him to blow himself up.
Yeah,
and like
standard, it seems.
I love it because it's like, I'm pretty sure his dialogue is pretty much that when it's just like, you've done terrible things and I think you should blow yourself up. And because I had like insanely high charisma because it was just funny. Because it's like every time we got to a quest, it's like, oh, you know, I want you to do this, this, and this for me, or you got to clear out all these super mutants. Like, oh, that's going to take ages, or like bandits, or if they pay me, it's like, you should give me everything you own. Actually, I'm going to give you everything. Like, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's the equivalent in real life of just turning around and going, no, you.
And it's like,
and someone going, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that's a compelling argument. But yeah. So you turn into evil President Malcolm McDowell, and you're like, you're terrible. You've done these horrible things. You should self-detonate. And he turns around and goes, that's a good idea. Like, you're absolutely right. Detonation sequence initiated. While the Enclave is just going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. My favorite Fallout 3 ending, like, there aren't a lot of them, like you said. You basically named the other two, and I'm going to name the other one that you can do. You talk up to the Brotherhood of Steel lady, and she's like, we need you to go in and put in the code to make the water happen, or no, to stop the detonation, or whatever the heck it was.
It was water, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, no. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, well, if you give me the code, I'll go do it. I'm like, no, you can't have the code.
It's mine. It's my code.
It's my code. I'm not giving you shit. I'm not doing shit. This is just ending right here. I don't give a fuck. The game ends that way. And it's like the traveler was
a selfish prick. My code. Fuck off. Wait, I guess the thing's like, I love how build-up set as well.
Went home.
Yeah, he's like, no, no. But I love the build-up as well when you come across like the evil general of the Enclave and you like kill him in one shot. Because I found like very early in the game the scope magnum. Yeah, and it was like whenever it was a character, like an actual plot character or somebody particular I went to kill, I always use that. It's like when that came out, you know, I was pissed off basically. It was like, we meet again, Trevor. Bang! You're dead. Right, it's the final boss done. There we go.
Time to loot his corpse.
As like his like the soldier next to him decides it'd be a really good idea to start shooting at the super mutant standing behind me with the laser Gatling gun.
Yeah.
As my dog chews his jugular out. But I see, like the ending to that always made me chuckle anyway. Because it's just like, no, you have to do this. Like, what? Why do I have to do everything?
Yeah.
You do it. And like, no, that's the bad ending. Like, no, I've done fucking everything.
I got us this far.
Yeah.
Someone else
I had to track down Pierce Brosnan. No, for the Pierce Brosnan. I'm thinking someone else. Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Pierce Brosnan hasn't had a midlife crisis yet. Liam Neeson has. That's what all the Taken movies are about. So it's like I had to track down Liam Neeson. Oh no, he's dead.
Taking his life back. I'm sorry, go on.
Oh fucking hell! I don't know if I can recover from that. So I had to find my dad. I had to go through a weird like virtual reality world. I had to do this. I had to do that. I had to try and get this thing from a radiated bunker. And the reason I was able to do that is because I met a super mutant that didn't want to chew my ears off. Then I had to do this. Then I had to fight the Enclave for you. Then this, like, just do this one extra thing and kill yourself.
Kill yourself. No matter what, you're the evil guy.
Yeah.
I did all this stuff, but I want you to do this. I want you to kill yourself. Do it. For me.
It's like, come on, someone can surely do this instead. You got robots,
and you're
right?
alive.
Why can't we just have a robot do it? Get one of those. Why am I complaining about a game that's like 10 years old?
I know, I was just thinking about, like, we're talking about Fallout 3 like it's new.
Yeah. Well, it's because they re-released it again. No, sorry, I'm thinking of Fallout 4.
Yeah, I'm not playing Fallout 4.
Well, when it came
3.
out.
I don't need to do 4.
Well, that's the thing. Like when it came out, I just kept making fun of it to all my friends, just saying, "Oh no, I didn't realise they just re-released it with mods."
Yeah.
That's what it is. It feels like Fallout 3 with like a town building mod.
I just got bored with it. I stopped. I did like the first few major quests and then just stopped.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just because it's just like this feels so much like 3. It had like the soundtrack was about 80% the same.
Wow.
The plot just didn't. I didn't care about. I gotta find your child. No, I don't have to.
Yeah, he's fine or not. It doesn't matter anymore.
Well,
I'm a responsible parent, but there was a nuclear war. I mean, what do you expect me to do in a nuclear situation?
It's like my kid's probably dead.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Probably get out of this. Well, I mean, I prefer New Vegas anyway because I just think the ending was better. The characters were more interesting. And the fact that it did feel like you had like at least 3 major different routes you could take because you had to like befriend one of the... No, it was like there was 4 because there's a Brotherhood of Steel, like the basically like Colonial Marines, the Romans, and like the bandits. So there was that, and it was interesting, and it wasn't just you have to find your family member. It was you were delivering something, you got shot in the face. Go and kick his ass. Go and kick Matthew Perry's ass. But yeah.
It'd be different if it was like, go find your dog. I would look for my dog.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I would. I'd be like, well, dog meat's gone. Right.
I
better go find him.
Gonna break some heads.
Yeah.
Who took
John
my
Wick
dog?
those bitches.
What else though? There was yesterday I was watching a 30-minute video from SGF. He's doing this October thing, and he's playing VR horror games, like one-shots every Saturday.
That's cool.
And PlayStation VR horror games, and it's kind of disappointing because like it was a horror game, but it was more like a horror experience. Like,
yeah,
you can't die, you can't even like fight. You just see spooky stuff, and then you get to the ending of the touching emotional story that you've seen before.
Yeah,
like I'm playing the father who's looking for his daughter in a creepy house. She's a ghost.
Oh no. I have not played anything like this in my entire life.
I mean,
what a twist.
I gotta hand it to, like, I wasn't even remotely interested in the story. I was just like, hey, SGF is doing another video and I'm gonna watch it before I go to sleep. But it was like 17 minutes of the 30 minutes in, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea about this game. I'm just gonna put it down before I give myself nightmares. And then I wake up, I'm like, alright, I was finished the last 13 minutes. I'm like, that was lame, damn it. I ran from that? What the hell? I'm pitiful. This is bullshit.
Just like screaming at the ghost, like, I ran from you. You're a disappointment.
Yeah. You didn't do anything. But like...
It's like the grudge monster's just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was trying. But like the beginning of it, like you're staring at a wall with like 5 paintings in a regular pattern on the wall, and one of the paintings is episode 0 because that's as far as this development's gotten. And there's like episodes 1 through 5 after that, but they haven't been made yet. And it's been like months, maybe even a year or so since the last episode. God. So you know this thing's dead in the water to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he clicks on the one, and when you click on it, like this woman in like a masquerade ball outfit, but also like covered in filth and blood and having a creepy voice, of course, is like, come with me. And I'm like, I'm not into this. I'm not going to watch this shit right now. That was basically like the beginning of me being creeped out. But it's only because it's VR, though. You put on the fucking things, and you can't...
It's really effective in VR.
Like, see anything in your office. Like, you can't look at a lamp or a picture of
you can't go...
globe or something. Yeah, it's there the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a forced perspective. And I mean... that could be used to great effect, like in Silent Hill. Like, the one example that always comes to mind for me is in Silent Hill 2 in the apartment building, where you'll go into an apartment room and you literally have a camera angle on the door and James, and you can't see what's in the room, but you can hear something or that kind of thing. But all too easily, it can just be used for scare you in the grill kind of thing.
Scare you right in the eyeballs.
That's why Silent Hill 2 always worked, because very rarely did any... There's jump scares in it anyway. You make the jump scares yourself because you're so jumpy.
Yeah.
The game doesn't really... I don't think... There's a few times when, like, you hear, like, a loud bang from a room you just came out of. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Or it's like... Or if... I think it was in the prison. there's when you go into one of the bathroom stalls, if you keep knocking on the door, it's like, oh, this is locked. Dun dun. Then I think it's as you leave the room, there's like a scream. And like, what the fuck was that? And you go back in and like,
yeah.
It's empty now.
There's a guy's yell in the apartment buildings as well. I think that's just, the guy that's actually supposed to be James's model in the chair in front of the TV.
Yeah.
You hear his supposed yell. There's the
that's
fucking terrifying noise that gets made when you do that puzzle in the prison. At the is it like a guillotine or stocks or something?
Yeah, and it's like, it sounds like a fucking horse running around.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
It's like,
there's nothing there. And that's why it's so good, because there's nothing there. But you hear it the first time, like, oh my god, there's a giant monster out here.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's a big open area. That's a loud sound. It's gonna be some horrible spider monster. Like
spider monster. Like, one of my favorite parts in Silent Hill 2, in reference to sound design, was the fact that one, like, the sound changed depending on what texture you're walking on. That was really cool. There was like a water puddle, and if your right foot was in the water puddle, then you'd hear one splash, but your left foot would not splash, even though it was, you'd easily just lazily program that in. This rectangle is splash sound. It's like, no, this perfectly shaped puddle is splash sound, period. But two, I remember in the apartment going downstairs, like, to like the ground floor from like a separate area, and as you walk towards the door, you hear like what would sound like if you were to take your heel, step on a mouse tail, and then like the rest of the foot on the mouse, like, that kind of thing. And it wasn't a good impersonation, but I've never been a mouse. And it sounds like pitiful and terrifying, like I just crushed a mouse, but there's nothing around me, and it happens just as you get to the door, so you're already like opening the door and leaving, and then you're like, what the fuck was that? And you turn around, you go back, there's nothing there. You can't make that sound again, but every time you go from the stairs to there, that sound will repeat. Like, it'll happen again. It's really strange, like, situational sound, but it scared the shit out of me because it's irregular. You don't hear it all the time. You don't hear it if you walk in circles. Like, you have to actually like leave the room and come back from here, and then it'll reset like a mouse trap. There's a lot of mouse metaphors in here. Anyway, I love that sound design. That was so good, and it's so far ahead of its time. And we aren't building on that.
Nope. We've got to have jump scares. Nothing but jump scares. Yeah. It's like there's lots of little things that. There's one thing that I found most recent time I played it, which was earlier in the year with my girlfriend. And there's one room in the hotel at the beginning. No, the apartment block. Sorry, at the beginning. And it's very faint. But if you go up to one of the rooms, you can't open it, but you can hear someone crying. And sobbing, and then they say things like really, really quiet.
That's the kind of shit that's the thing that gets to me. I love things like that.
What the fuck is that? But I think it's the same the room number, I think, is the same room number that you go to at the very end of the game when you watch the videotape.
Wow.
I think.
That's so good.
I might be wrong. I think it's something like that. But it's it's James again. Fuck, how many times has he done this? Because I think he's done that multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the first time he's been through a town, because there's all the different... Because all the dead bodies you find are clearly his. They're his character model, I think.
Yeah, when you think about it, like the one who's watching the TV, there's also the VCR tape with him killing his wife, spoiler alert. But it's an old game, I'm sorry, whatever.
There's one you find in the town as well, isn't it? It's like kind of slumped over, leaned up against something, he's got all the blood down his face. I think it might be on your way. It's very early in the game, so after you get the first weapon, and there's like a dead body like slumped up against the wall, and it's like, that looks like James's character model again. I wonder. I mean, it might not be their intention. They might have just been lazy, or it's like, hey, he's done this a few times, but he won't accept it yet.
That whole kind of like triangle loop.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
that kind of mediocre film we watched.
Yes.
Triangle was good.
Mediocre.
Triangle was good.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think the main thing we took away from it when we did it on the cast was that it thought it was much more intelligent than it actually was.
Yeah, it needed more refining.
Yeah, but I like that kind of idea, the whole kind of looping.
Oh, the idea's
stuck in a kind of a purgatory / hell of your own making, always trying to change it but can't, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. what were we initially talking? Oh yeah, that was it. So horror games and VR. I have to say that because obviously I've got a headset now. I haven't played anything that's got jump scares, but anything that's even remotely creepy has like it's far more atmospheric. Resident Evil 7 is I think the only way you can really play it. Now I've played it. I haven't finished it in VR yet, but I think the only way to really play it is with VR because it's so immersive.
You have to tell me because I don't know because I've not really watched Let's Plays and I certainly haven't done any VR myself. But I would imagine that's slightly more immersive than real gaming to the point where you would, if you're watching it, you're kind of missing the point of it. Like surely the majority of the goodness of it comes from actually experiencing it yourself.
Because like for example, that just even the prologue. I mean, it creeped me out initially the first time I played it, but it's when you first get to like the door and you open it, it's just pitch black before he turns his flashlight on, which you can't manually turn on, which still really annoys me because it's just like, why can't I just turn it off and on? But even that, it was just because you've got all the depth of field as well, and it's like I really don't want to go in here because my brain is saying that's wrong. Don't go in there. It's creepy. But like when you're going through the kitchen and all that, and it's really dark, and it's just because you get that sense of the depth of field, and because you know it's different than watching like a TV.
Yeah.
You really get like a sense of scale of everything, and it makes it far more unsettling. And it actually makes the stealth parts of the game more fun because because of the use of the headset because it tracks your head movement. It actually fixes something I've always had a problem with. It fixes my problem I've always had with stealth first-person games, like first-person games that have stealth. I always prefer, if it's a stealth game, I prefer it to be third-person because you can properly like move the camera around. You can probably have a look.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm playing like Dishonored or when I've played like Dishonored or whatever, and it's like you're selfing around, you can only move like this.
You can't peek around corners.
You can't look around. You can only like move very robotically. Whereas playing this, when I was hiding from Jack and I was trying to move around from Jack, the bit very early on when you wake up at the dinner table, and I was able to like get up alongside the wall, and then very, very gradually so the wall's here, and I could just very gradually lean around and have a little look, lean a bit further. Move back very quickly if I needed to, if he was coming out, instead of having to just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it made it's so much more fun. And because that game isn't full of jump scares as well, it helps. But it makes like even once you've got a weapon. Because I was playing it on New Game Plus, so I had the Albert Wesker gun, like the Biohazard gun that you've got. That's like only has 3 rounds, but it's like stupendously powerful. And the molded are far less annoying. But even that, it made like the gunplay more fun because what it does is you just hold down like left trigger, and then where you want to shoot is where you look. So you get little pinpoints so you can see it. It's like and bang headshot, and it makes clearing rooms more fun because you've got your weapons. So you want to check around the corner. Gradually, it's clear. I'm good. And then you turn around and you start running through, and it makes the scary moments scarier, because you got like it's just like when they get right in your face, you do recoil. It's like some fucking scary bastards right in your face. But I don't think I could. At the same time, I think it'd get annoying if I did play one of those generic jump scare horror games because it's just like I'm not having fun with fucking taking this thing off.
Yeah.
You've got to. I think PT would have been fucking awesome in VR.
It would have.
PT would have been so good in VR.
But see, like the game I was talking about has the same texture, detail, and quality as PT did.
Yeah,
so
is it? I think if it's what I'm thinking of, it's because it's all revolves around the paintings, isn't it?
Yeah, something about dimension. I don't remember. I can look it up while I'm talking, but like it had that same kind of texture detail and all that kind of stuff. What was it called? Soul Dimension Episode 0. That's what it was
Soul Dimension.
Soul Dimension.
It's so generic. It's like that Paranormal Activity episode. It might as well be. So I was going to try, but when I remember when I saw the poster for one of the Paranormal Activity movies in the cinema, and I just started laughing out loud because it was just called Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. Really? Like that is the
rating the Ghost Dimension? What are we offering here?
The Ghost Dimension.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
what?
like
Like,
I
that's
said.
so lame. It's like the Ghost House.
So I've been really curious though, like how do you play RE7 VR with the controller? Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
Like
it got
the
move
DualShock?
controls, or is it the actual?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
DualShock controls. So basically your head replaces the right analog stick.
Good.
That's basically what it is. But you can still use the right analog stick to turn your head gradually, but it doesn't do it too quickly because obviously you'd be like fucking. But what that allows you to do is that it's like because you literally just end up moving around like this. You are the right analog stick, and you just move with the left stick. It does.
Are you standing
It does-
up the whole time?
I mean, you can be sat down when you're playing it, but it's way more fun to be stood up because what it allows you to do as well is there's like the finer details you can like have a proper good look at. So at the kitchen right at the beginning, and you open the fridge and all the mold is like it rips and tears as you open it. All the gunk. I stuck my fucking head right in there. I was like, I want to have a look at this. Oh, that's fucking nasty. And Kitty's just going, oh, that's gross. What are you doing? Like, oh, look at that. That's fucking great. All the flies and maggots and shit. Oh, this is wonderful. So you can like proper stick your head right in, or you can crouch down and really have a look under things. So it's. I mean, that is just alone makes it so much more fun. But certain games, like the games that use the Move controllers, the only problem with those, like Doom VR is fun, but the problem with Doom VR is that to move, you press the move button on the move controllers, and then you like teleport. So like you hold it down, and it gives you like a target, and you're like, I want to move over there, and you go, and you fly over. And there's quite a few games that do that. They have released I think it's called an aim controller, which is just basically you hold it like a rifle, and it's got an actual analog stick on it.
Yeah, there is a game that
Which
uses
looks good.
that specifically. That's kind of meant for that.
Firewall.
That's
Which
what.
is apparently especially.
That's what
it's
I was
like
looking at when I was
multiplayer
thinking about getting PSVR. I can't
No,
really afford it at the moment. But
Oh no, it's called something else. It came out.
it's a space shooter
last
thing,
m-
isn't it? Like
That one's
Surface
apparently
of the
quite
Planet.
good. Yeah, that one's apparently quite good. There's another one that came out at the end of August, which is like a squad-based, like team deathmatch shooter, and it's all like you have to like work together and communicate, and you've got the mini map on your wrist, so you like
That
look
won't
down.
work. That does not work in the gaming community. No one wants to work together.
Apparently it's really good fun apparently. So, but the aim controller is like expensive, which is the only problem. But
See, I love
just a
it.
a ton of fun.
That sounds like super good to me, but the problem is if it's completely there yet, like the technology.
Is it
It's
like
good-
a
it's good fun.
plastic controller, or is it like a model that you put a Move controller on, or is it like the
No,
actual
it comes.
controller?
It comes with. I think one's basically built in,
And yeah, it's like
Okay.
a built-in move.
and then
thing
there's
with a gun.
and then where the where you hold it, there's like an analog stick, so you can just move it, so you can like, move forward and like aim in, and
It's kind of
it
like
looks
the
like
ones
it works.
for PS3. I think there was a Time Crisis one that my brother had, which is a gun that literally you put the Move controller into, like slot it in the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know that one. Yeah, but it looks like it works. This new one, it looks like I mean, and if it does work well, then that's going to open up all kind of avenue for games. It's like
That'd be
that's
cool.
going to be fun. Yeah. So the VR is a shitload of fun. It's a shitload of fun.
Yeah, something that
even the
appealed to me.
shooters.
Back when I was getting the PS4 earlier this year, I thought about it, and it was just too much of an investment at the time. But
Yeah, it is.
I think I'll give it a little while, let it come down, hopefully in price a little bit, and then
Yeah,
reassess
it might go on sale like after Christmas. You know, there's always like the Boxing Day sales or the New Year's Day sales.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye on because it's really fucking cool. It's really cool.
Sounds cool.
So But yeah, so
Well, talking of cool, I have been. I've been struggling for a reason to bring this up on the podcast, but I now, as of yesterday, finally came up with one. I've been watching the Next Generation, Star Trek: The Next Generation, in my lunch break at work, and mainly because I found that I was watching YouTube. Yes, Chris is wearing a Starfleet Academy t-shirt.
Represent.
For everyone who's represent.
I've never sounded whiter.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, at heart, I'm more of a... And it's not that I actually am a Trekkie or a Star Wars nerd, and I was never neither. I was never either or. But I always found myself drawn more to Star Trek than Star Wars. And I used to love the original series, and TNG actually was kind of like on the TV when I was, in my childhood. People from the UK will remember fondly that it was kind of on around 6:45 on a weekday, sort of like BBC Two.
Was it after or before Ren and Stimpy? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It was around the same time slot.
Yeah, or after The Simpsons.
What a weird follow-up.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy, TNG. It's like, whoa.
I think it was before, because I remember I'd be like, oh my god, Ren and Stimpy's going to be on soon, because I was a little kid and Mum would tell me, I'm like, oh, fucking Star Trek ruins everything. Ren and Stimpy.
It was like the opposite, so like they would have Simpsons, then they would have like Star Trek or Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was on BBC. Yeah.
Every time tennis came on, like Wimbledon, it would get cancelled in favour of that. So I was the opposite. I was like, oh my god, Wimbledon ruins everything. But
no, Wimbledon did, because it took all three things away. That time slot was just taken up. No Simpsons, no Star Trek. Because I still liked Next Generation, but I really wanted to watch Ren and Stimpy. So all of those three ruined by tennis. Fuck you, Wimbledon.
And I watched, I went to the cinema to watch First Contact when I was a kid, because it was a big deal. It was coming out, their first... No, Generations was the first one, TNG movie.
Well, everyone tried to forget about Generations, because it was really fucking bad.
But First Contact was a big
TNG
deal.
movies are crap. Go on.
I enjoyed First Contact.
First Contact's good.
That's probably nostalgia talking, because I was a kid, and I really liked the Borg. The Borg was kind of like a scary but brilliant idea to me as a kid. I was kind of like, assimilation.
It was, until First Contact, when they gave us a Borg queen, when it's like it was no longer about assimilating, it was no longer about the cruel machinations of just like technology taking force in the galaxy. It's like, actually, I'm the queen of the Borg. It's like, what are you fucking doing here? Get out, push her out.
That's right, they melt her face.
I will take a
She's
second
kind
though
of
to just
fall
say,
in love with Data. Come on,
very
man.
cool effect. The whole kind of dropping her in thing. I was watching a making of that scene, and that was really cool.
That was always a really cool looking effect. Always looked really cool. I liked First Contact was good. That was a lot of fun. Like the opening 15 minutes. The opening 15 minutes alone are just really fun. Hey, it's better than Insurrection, which was
none of them are good.
Insurrection's like the most boring thing.
Generations and First Contact, the only ones I've seen. I've not seen any of the other TNG movies.
Insurrection. Watch Nemesis for a really young Tom Hardy.
I saw that was him in it. Yeah.
Dying over here.
We'll get onto Tom Hardy in a minute. Oh
man, yeah, just whatever.
Chris,
I have
breathe.
strong opinions against those movies. I love the show, and then me and my buddy were like, let's watch the movies. Yeah, sure. There's more TNG. Let's watch the movies. Great. And every one of them were crushing disappointments following the TV show, because the TV show sets up these great characters, and the movies turns them all the way around.
Yeah, I was watching a video someone did on YouTube that basically said Data is a completely different character in each movie.
Yeah. They all are.
Give it half a year, Chris. By the time
I
watch TNG, I'll probably then watch the movies and be very similarly going,
join me!
But the thing that struck me about it is that Voyager was the only one that, because again that came out when I was a kid, started airing.
Yeah.
So I followed the story of that one, but when it came to TNG, I only caught the odd one here and there. I wasn't into watching it that much. So in terms of continuity, I wasn't aware of the overarching plots and things like that. So that's why I really wanted to go back and watch TNG, partially only because also in my lunch breaks I was just watching people on YouTube and it was starting to just annoy me. So I thought, why not actually use this time productively to watch Star Trek, I guess.
Right. That's the better thing.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. I've just finished season 1. And the reason why I'm bringing it up on a horror podcast is because the penultimate episode of season 1 is called Conspiracy, and they've left little kind of like plot hints throughout the season that they were building up to this kind of idea of some kind of creature taking over Starfleet and making, Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing.
He's always good,
and it's really cool. And the episode is so metal. Like I had to message you guys and tell you how metal it was because. For anyone who isn't aware, the end of that episode features Picard and Riker, who they've managed to work out that the bugs are taking over, and they've managed to force the bugs out of people's bodies, and the bugs are returning to the kind of, I guess, the mother or queen of the bugs, who happens to be in this guy who showed up earlier in the season to basically interrogate everyone on the Enterprise to try and find something wrong with Picard's command, which was really... So you already hate this guy, and then you find out he's the queen of the bugs, which just makes it even better when they produce their phasers and shoot the fuck out of him. Mm-hmm. In fact, I strongly recommend watching it on YouTube because it's so perfect. Because
can you just like splice in that moment, that just like 2 seconds of when his head explodes?
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like him right now.
Maybe I can put it up on screen. I'll try. But The first thing I like about it is that this whole season you've been hearing Picard say, let's not start a fight unless we have to, let's be diplomatic, let's be good. And this bug thing goes, we are going to coexist with you, it's going to be all fine and gravy. And then Picard just goes,
fuck you.
Yeah. Doesn't even say a word, just phases the shit out of this thing.
He's just like, I was like, man, it's cold. So, Riker's just like, alright, we're doing this.
Riker's like, okay. They concentrate their fire on this guy's head, and it explodes. And
really
Matt's right, it's only for a frame, but the thing it reminded me of, he looks a little tiny bit like Tarman from Return of the Living Dead, which is awesome. I'm surprised they got away with that amount of kind of gory effects, considering it was a primetime TV show.
Like it's not just that they don't just like burn the skin off his face; they do that, and then his head just pops.
Yeah, it just pops.
It's really brutal.
And then the queen bug emerges from a torso, and they shoot the fuck out of that as well. In fact, they take a break just to, like, Picard has this beautiful look of disgust on his face, and then he just raises his phaser again. It's like enough with this
Riker's
shit.
looking at it going, Riker's like, what the fuck is, you see this shit? He's like, fucking die.
Yeah. It's like, to boldly go in peace.
You saw nothing, number one.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, sir. I saw nothing.
But it's so
That's what's interesting about that, though, because like they actually have like a parasitic organism race in the Star Trek universe, though not at the time that episode was aired. It was more like Deep Space Nine, called the Trill.
Yeah.
They did have TNG episodes that involved the Trill, though, and they were basically just like this planet of people who they have normal people like you and I, and then like this parasite, and they have like this ritual like implantation of the parasite into the person, and it's a knowing commingling of two species. One can't live without the other, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and the Trill like live forever, and the human host eventually dies of old age, and then just plant the Trill into another human host, and they just continue to live. And there's no reproduction. They just sort of exist. It's really weird like that. The Federation, totally cool with that. They have crew members who are Trill. Really, they're fine with that. But this one moment where Picard's like, "There's a new life form. Kill her with fire."
Well, yeah. I mean,
know where you live.
Taking the ethical concerns of completely taking over a person aside and just putting them over there. I think mainly the issue he had with it is that they're trying to take over Starfleet. Like, so long as you accept Starfleet and you're like, yeah, we are parasitic organisms, but we're totally not going to take over. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's like the Trill is like, this is a mutual thing. We're all cool with this. There's no problem.
Yeah, that is so weird though, because like there's the episode in the TNG is like Beverly Crusher falls in love with a dude who happens to be a Trill. That dude dies. The Trill gets planted into a woman.
Yes.
And she's like, "Hey, Beverly Crusher, do you still love me?" And she's like, "I'm not a lesbian."
I was watching the top 10 best episodes of or top 10 best or worst kind of like compilation of TNG episodes, and that one was on there because apparently before it transfers into the woman, it transfers into Riker, and they continue their relationship.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, okay. Like the writers are just like, how can we get them to kiss? Okay.
I want to see it when they kiss.
Basically, yeah.
We've been building Beverly and Picard for years, and let's change this up a bit.
Yeah.
So just get these two action figures going. I don't like Riker anymore. He's boring. So move to someone else.
This female action figure. Bang, bang.
Yeah. No.
But speaking of parasites,
Don't want to anyway.
The one other thing I really wanted to do talk about briefly involving parasites is I saw Venom yesterday, and
Still need to see that.
all I will say is I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was not going to be good, and it surprised me.
Because I'm hearing like really bad things. Like the consensus I've seen is just it's boring.
I think people
Like,
just want to hate on it.
Yeah.
Maybe the first half is a bit more boring than the second half. I listened to Mark Kermode's review this morning actually, and he said that it is a film of 3 parts, and he really liked the third part, and he didn't like part 1 and part 2. But
Really?
well, see, part 1 is all just build up to what's going to happen. So basically, it's setting up the characters. Showing you why Tom Hardy like fucked up and lost his girlfriend and stuff, and it's interesting. But I can imagine if you're there for like, oh, give me Venom punching shit.
Yeah,
then
I think it's probably because people are a little bit burnt out on origin stories as well.
yeah. Which I can appreciate that. I think part of the reason I enjoyed it so much is because I do like Tom Hardy. He was in a TV show called, I'd never really seen him in much actually until I watched the TV show called Taboo.
He was in Taboo.
Yeah, well, he basically, I think he was kind of an exec producer, so he kind of crafted the character and everything. So he was really fucking good, really intense. Because I've not even seen Dark Knight Rises, so I've not seen him as Bane or anything like that. I've barely seen him in anything until
Watch
Taboo.
Revenant. He's in Revenant as well.
He's the best thing in that.
Yeah.
He's the best thing in it.
Okay.
I'm like, I want to see a movie about that character. I don't care about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Like, there's that one bit when he's like, he's slowing us down. You know, he's in the trailer, he's slowing us down, we should kill him. I'm like, yeah, you should. Otherwise you're all going to fucking die.
Yeah.
I'm adding it to my
And they're like, no,
list.
he's the villain. Like, he wants to fucking live.
Basically.
It's fine with me, man.
But yeah,
Like, no, it's not really. Like, fucking slowing us down, man. We're going to freeze to death.
I think if you like Tom Hardy, you will like Venom. I think if you like Venom as a character, you'll like Venom. The effects were not as bad as I thought they were going to be as well. There's a bit in the middle where it all becomes a bit of a CGI clusterfuck because everything's going stretchy, you know.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a lot of and it's one of those things like, how do you do that? How do you actually film it? I mean, there was one bit in the trailer that always makes me chuckle is when he's on the motorbike. It's like, yeah. I'm like, that's lame.
That's the
like,
section I'm
Venom
talking
on the
about. So
yeah.
it's kind of like a bike chase. And to be honest, that's there because it's partially an action movie, and that's fine. But yeah, my brain kind of turned off in that part. But the one thing I will say, and we are going to be very briefly getting onto a discussion, I think, venting about the Predator just for a second. The one thing I thought this movie did brilliantly that the Predator did not is that it knew just the right amount of humour. So Venom has got it's got some very obvious laughs in it, places where you could hear people in the audience laughing, or my wife just started pissing herself because I forget what it was that he said, but it was something very funny. And but Venom toes this line. It has these humorous moments, but it also has a lot of horror elements. It could have been a horror movie if they cut it slightly differently. The cut that I watched was a 15, and I hear most people wanted it to be R-rated, and it might have been at some point, but then it got cut down so that it would apparently. The reason I read was that it was to do with demographics and that they could sell it to teens. Like lots of teens would like to go see the movie, and so money's high.
Yeah, most fans of Venom, real hardcore fans of Venom are teens because he's not the goody two shoes superhero. He's he's got an edge to him, and it's things like I hate this consensus of people going, oh, I can't believe it's not R-rated. I'm like, just because it's R-rated doesn't mean it is a good movie.
Yeah.
Like if it's something like Deadpool would have to be R-rated because of the type of character anyway, because he's very sweary.
Yeah.
He swears all the fucking time, and he dismembers people and he kills people. Venom's an anti-hero that exists in the Spider-Man universe, and he's violent, but he's not like tearing people in half all the fucking time. He's not swearing all the time. It's not Robocop. A guy's not going to get jackhammered by Ed 209 for like 15 seconds, which is glorious. And the guy's not going to get melted by toxic waste and like his face is falling off. Like, you're not going to get that. It's a fucking superhero
I was actually
movie.
pleasantly surprised by the amount of stuff they put into a 15 certificate film. I was thinking maybe it's just because I'm getting old that I felt like 15s when I was young didn't have this kind of stuff. So there was at least one F-bomb for sure. There was lots of shits and everything else in there. So swear-wise, that it was up there. There was impalement. There was people getting decapitated, but not like you bet where they cut away just in time, so you don't actually see it.
You don't have to see it. You don't have to see it.
You don't have to see it, and it was perfectly. I enjoyed it, so I would recommend it. Especially if you like Tom Hardy, especially if you like Venom as a character or concept. The other thing I was worried about is the fact that everything I've seen of Venom so far in terms of his origin story involves Spider-Man. And so apparently this is based on...
directly linked to Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is based on a comic apparently that is a different kind of reimagining origin tale that doesn't involve Spider-Man. And I thought going in, this is going to be a bit shit without Spider-Man, but actually it was fine. Perfectly fine standalone.
Because obviously the original origin story is, it directly involves Spider-Man, because without Spider-Man, because the reason why Venom looks like he does is because he's like a more monstrous version of the suit that how Spider-Man looked when he had the symbiote, so because he's more chaotic. That's fine, but if it's based off of a origin story that doesn't involve Spider-Man, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, so. And I really like the way Venom looks as well. So when he's talking to Tom Hardy, for instance, and they're actually having a kind of a talk about what's happening, the parasite kind of like comes out of his back and round in front of him and has the head of Venom. So they're kind of like, you can see them talking to each other, which is really cool.
That's cool. I mean, I do have to ask one thing. Is Tom Hardy's Brooklyn accent hilarious the entire movie? Because in the trailer it's fucking awful and I love it. I'm Eddie Brock.
It doesn't get any better, but I will say I find it endearing. So, and a lot of the humour comes from the fact that he's very kind of. It's not that he's easygoing, but it's just that he's very subdued. So he'll like smash a load of people down with the parasite powers and everything, and then he'll kind of turn around and go, "I'm really sorry," or that kind of thing. It's just seems like a nice guy.
Like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that and Venom is a really good wingman, because Venom is constantly trying to get him back with his girlfriend.
Really?
Really? Wow.
It's kind of a spoiler, but I guess I could tell you guys. Venom moves from host to host a couple of times in the movie where they get separated or whatever.
Happens in comics.
Yeah, so there's a female Venom at one point with
boobs.
With boobs, and
how else would you know she's a lady? How else would the people in cinema would be confused? Going, is that Tom Hardy? What Tom Hardy's standing there? Then what's Venom doing there?
Oh, he's got breasts. He's a very good actor, and he can even act like an actress.
Yeah, so it's different. It's a woman. I know it's different because it's got breasts. I don't know why an alien would suddenly have breasts. Why has Venom got a dick? That's what I'm saying.
Venom also takes over a dog in the movie, and I really would have liked to have seen a dog version of Venom. And it's one of those shitty little Chihuahua things, like tiny dog.
Of course it is. I need to see this movie now.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. Dog. But yes, I'm sorry to get onto this, but we need to very briefly touch on the Predator before we actually get round to the main event of this podcast. Because Chris, you haven't seen the Predator, have you?
Nope.
I would recommend at least waiting until it's on streaming services before you bother to.
Yeah, wait until it's like $1. Actually, I'm interested to see what happens when they do release it to Blu-ray. I'm wondering if they're going to add the stuff they cut out.
Do you know what they cut out?
The finale was different. Yeah, I found out because I watched it with my girlfriend and we both had the same opinion that it was garbage, and. Because garbage, and so whenever Red Letter Media do half in the bag on any recent movie, if it's something I'm interested in, I can't watch it. I have to wait until I've seen it.
And I'd stayed away from a lot of information about this movie. I'd not even seen a full. I think I'd seen one of the first trailers, but nothing after that.
Yeah, exactly. So I watched their review of it on half in the bag, and I don't remember the last time they hated the movie as much as they hated this, but also, you know how when they did like The Mummy and they were just laughing at how bad it was?
Yeah.
For this one, they just looked sad. They looked like really like genuinely like really just.
That's how I felt
like
coming
rubbish.
out of it. I felt
and
if someone had told me I was going to see an action comedy, maybe I would have been
exciting.
able. Yeah, I would have been able to like it a bit better. But because I went in thinking this is a Predator film, and it's not even that I expected full-on horror, because as we discussed previously, the original Predator had horror elements, but it was more of an action horror.
Exactly, but
I was at least expecting some kind of atmosphere or mood that was kind of, you know...
Well, the mood's ruined every time because Shane Black, for some reason, Shane Black and Fred Dekker, they both wrote it, which is so confusing. They created Monster Squad, which is a really fun movie. And Fred Dekker's really talented, and Shane Black's really talented as well. And they made this fucking horrible film that's just boring. It's not that... Like, 90% of the jokes, like, fell on silence in the cinema. Like, we saw it Saturday morning. So people obviously would want to go and see it. If you're going to see a movie on a Saturday that's kind of that time, it's a movie you want to already see. And there's all these jokes, and everyone's just...
Yep.
I laughed out loud at one point because I couldn't believe that they'd written it because they thought they were being so funny. Basically, as Tom will know, when the main character's kid is autistic, which is going to lead into a lot of jokes about the movie. Not because he's autistic, but because of what happens at one point. Because of what it means, and because you say it and you realise how stupid it sounds. But so there's all these characters. The main characters all like got PTSD. They're all like the crazy bunch. And there's one guy who he says like he calls up one of the characters, one of the villains, like a retard. And this other guy turns around and goes, "Hey," and the main character goes, "Can you maybe use a different word for that, please?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's do that." And then one of the other guys goes, "Yeah, don't say that. His fucking kid's retarded."
Yeah.
And I just went, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that."
Yeah.
Like they're on it going, "Oh yeah, it's funny." Also, they do a thing that has pissed some autistic people off as well, as they equate autism with superpowers.
Yes, yeah, the kid knows how to function alien tech
because he's autistic.
Yeah, of course.
And also, at one point, the villain Predator kidnaps him because they want his autism.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. The Predators want his autism.
They want it?
They want his autism.
Can you give me your autism? I
Yeah,
don't know how to transfer that.
Because earlier on in the movie, Olivia Munn's character, who is the next part of Evolution, is like, "Oh, this is going to come back again, isn't it?" And the Predator is like, "I'm having your son. We want his autism." That's what they want. Like, seriously, that's what they want. They also majorly ruin a major part of the lore.
Which part?
Oh no! You see, we used to think they ripped out the spines and the skulls because they wanted the trophies, but what they really wanted, well, was something else. That part.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if you're gonna see it, but
I'm not.
Basically, spoilers. They in the move that just had me slapping my forehead was they go, no. What the real reason they came to Earth. And the reason they were taking the spines wasn't because they were hunting for trophies. It's because they wanted the best of us, because they wanted our spinal fluid so they could genetically modify themselves.
Yeah. They want to splice themselves with the strongest species in the galaxy to make themselves better.
Even though in every other movie, and at times in this movie as well, they're assumed to be stronger than every single human being on the planet.
Yeah.
Already.
Right. There's no value to them from us.
Yeah, and there's good predators that want to save us from global warming. Really, that's a line in the movie. It's like, they want to save us from global warming. And they give the main character at the end a super predator suit. So he's basically like, has everyone ever seen The Guyver? That anime, and it's based on the manga, and they made a terrible movie in the 80s where it's like, this guy gets like this, it's a bio booster armor, and it's like, there's all these people that can turn into monsters, like weird alien things. And then the good aliens gave humans like these weapons. It's like, it attaches itself to you, and then you can like initiate this armor that covers your body, and it's really badass, and there's blades coming out the elbows, and it's basically that. And it's got like four of those like guns. It's like, well, this is the Predator Killer suit. And also,
the whole thing just feels
it's
so try-hard in terms of...
yeah.
Especially the humour really threw me off because the first couple of jokes I
the wrong
thought...
moments.
Okay, the first movie started out with these soldiers telling jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
So in the bus, that bus section where the main soldier character gets introduced to the I guess, for want of a better term, the loony bin.
He's awful.
Yeah. And so they kind of have, and I hate this word, but that whole soldier banter going on, and I thought, okay, I can kind of forgive this because there was a bit of that in the first one. Then it just didn't stop, and halfway through the movie they're still cracking jokes every line, and I'm like,
it worked in the first one because what it did was it showed you it showed you how they worked together, and you're like, I totally believe now that these are like 8 guys that work together, and they are so comfortable around each other that they can throw insults like. When Blaine's like, "Oh, this stuff will turn you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus," and Punch-Out is like, "Yeah, strap this on your sore ass," and they're like, "Ah, fuck you, Blaine," yeah, and it's like, this is funny. But then when they have to be serious, it's really fucking serious.
It highlights the fact that when the shit hits the fan, they're not like that anymore, and that kind of highlights, like you say, the kind of things are serious now. That never happens in this film, even when they're fighting predators or chasing predators or whatever.
They're like, "Whoa, crazy! I've got PTSD."
Yeah.
Like, and one of the characters he's like, "Oh, I'm in here because I shot an NCO." Oh no, a CO. He's a CO. It says CO. It's like, "Oh, who was it?" It's like, "Oh, it was me."
Yeah, he waits a while before he says that as well. So it's like they plant that seed, and then later on he's like, "Oh, it was me," and he points to a scar. It's like, oh, okay.
And it's,
why couldn't you have just said that in the first place?
Yeah, and he's like, "Should I be worried about it?" And he's like, "Probably." And he lets him around his kid.
Yeah, like the whole thing feels like a bunch of misfits saved the world, but the problem is that
they're all they're annoying.
The tone is so weird.
Yeah, and it's got Theon Greyjoy in it as well.
Oh yeah.
Who's for some reason his character's Irish and his accent is really fucking bad. The first time he spoke, I was like, is he using his English accent? It's like he's doing his English accent. He's like, "Oh, me laddie," and I'm like, "Oh, he's Irish," and now I'm British again. Oh, what are you? Stick. The best one was Thomas Jane.
Yeah, I felt conflicted because Thomas Jane is my favourite character in that movie. He's my favourite character in a lot of movies. I like him as an actor.
He's a really good actor.
In fact, he was one of the selling points for me in terms of going to see this, hearing that he was connected to it.
I was so excited when I heard he was going to be. I was like, perfect.
And what they give to him is a Tourette's guy. Like,
he's got Tourette's because he's got PTSD. Yeah. That's how it works, right?
And to be fair, I would say, although I'm biased because I like him, I think he was trying his best with it.
He was one of the only characters that was actually funny.
Yeah. But again, it was also a lot of just saying fanny to people because people with Tourette's say swear words.
Also, a person wearing Converse can keep up with a predator that's running at full sprint. Olivia Munn is just running alongside the predator at one point. The most exciting.
That's called marketing.
Yep. Well, the most exciting moment in the movie, I think, is because basically it crash landed. You see it in the trailer. It's crash landed, and they've got it in that lab, and you see it in the trailer where it breaks out. That's the most exciting moment in the movie because it's just chaotic and it's just fucking throwing people, and you see it picks up an assault rifle at one point and just fires it. I know the usual fucking weapon. I know how weapons work. Okay. And I guess this is fun, and then it leaves her because she hasn't got a weapon or anything. It's like, fuck you. Just rips the door open and leaves. And then she catches up with it somehow because it's really bad at running away. But I don't fucking know. But
and then in the middle it goes a bit Stranger Things, combined with the fact is I think it's partially because it's school playing pitch or something at night, and they're trying to catch it or whatever.
Well, they establish the evil predator shows up. The fully CGI predator looked really bad, and he has 2 dogs with him. And of course they got dreadlocks because apparently everything from their planet has dreadlocks.
Yep.
But hey, do you remember Predators where they had really cool looking monster dogs? I do. And Shane Black doesn't. But so it sends these evil dogs off the kid because he's got tech that it needs for reasons. And and like they turn up. The two of them turn up. He's like, oh shit, oh he's cornered, and then like his dad turns up with like the ragtag bunch, and they start shooting at them, and the bullets just like deflecting off of them, and then dogs just stand there, and it's not exciting because it's just loads of guys standing on a football pitch shooting at them, and they're going rawr. Like, do something. Why are they not doing anything? The bullets aren't having an effect on them. I thought it was gonna be like this it could have been like this really exciting set piece when like they're being chased and having to like fight them, and they're just like fucking standing there, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then one of them gets lobotomized and starts following them around like a dog.
It felt to me like an 80s science fiction horror film with no soul and trying so hard to be funny.
And it wasn't.
And it
and also
wasn't.
the moment I checked out was when they wharfed the oh, so we're going back to TNG again. When they wharfed the Predator.
Oh yeah.
Either of you know?
I'm familiar with it. It's basic. If I'm correct, it's that Worf is the strongest guy on the Enterprise. So to show that the enemy is a threat, they consistently hand Worf's ass to him to show you that they're serious.
Yes.
Which makes Worf just look pathetic.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So they wharf the main Predator. So it's getting interesting. It's interesting. It's like everything's coming together at the same time. So the Predator has found the main character, who is the actor was awful. His character was unlikable, and I can't remember his first name. The character's first name. But so they all moves in at the same time. So he finds his kid. The Predator finds them, and then the big super Predator that's like 11 feet tall finds them, grabs the Predator, and it's like they've hinted that the regular Predator is like a good one, and he like throws him out. They have a little fight. He throws him on a car, takes the mask off, punch, and kills him in one punch. That was the moment I went, my investment's gone. Like, I don't fucking care about this CGI boring thing.
Right. It's like when you said, like, if I'm ever going to watch this movie, I should wait till it's like a $1.
Yeah,
or even better on Netflix.
Or it's on Netflix.
Something you're already paying for.
But that $1 or 2 hours of my time, this has way more value. So I'm just not going to watch that movie, no matter what it's.
No, that's fair enough.
Like,
absolutely.
The technology, like all the Predator tech, it didn't feel like it fit. Like, we watched Predator 2 last night because Kitty had never seen Predator. She'd been Predator 1 and Predators, but she'd never seen Predator 2. Everyone says Predator 2 is shit. It's not shit. It's not as good as the first one. I think it's
underrated.
It's not shit. I've seen it before. It's good.
Yeah, so we watched that.
Fine.
And we were like, hey, that was a really fun movie. You know what? It was a fucking Predator movie. It was simple. Yeah. The plot was simple. It added 3 really cool weapons, like the net, the fucking net, the spear, and the disc. It added one little thing to them, 2 things to their mystique. Actually, we know that they won't kill you if you don't have a weapon because you're not sport. It won't kill anyone that's pregnant because, like, hey, oh, sorry, because again, it's like, well, I'm not going to kill though because that could grow up to be a great warrior for all I know. That's the way I've always seen it.
It's not about massacring the human race. It's about hunting them.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, and that tiny section at the end with the spaceship says so many things in such a short amount of time.
Also, like, so Danny Glover defeats it, and then the rest of the clan turn up. He gives him a trophy by giving him that flint pistol from like the 1700s, like 1715, isn't it? Like, he gives it to him, and he's like, respect. Like, they're like, we respect you. We have honor, and they let him go. Also, the interior of the ship looks so fucking cool. It's like, it's weird. It's all foggy. It looks alien, and like the walls are glowing, and then we have the trophy wall with all the different aliens and the xenomorph as well, which everyone went ballistic for. But like, even the other like creatures that it's got as trophies, like that weird T-Rex thing. It's like, I want to know what that is. Like, all these things opens up, like, wow, they've been everywhere. And you know they've been coming to Earth for like hundreds of thousands of years. Oh, fuck. And the ship looked weird and alien, but it looked like it fit in with all their technology. And then in the new one, it's all like sleek and looks like something from Star Wars.
From Star Wars or Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all
really
sleek, and they've got like these big like 3D graphical user interfaces, and they're pushing buttons going, and it just like doesn't fit. This doesn't feel like a Predator movie. It starts with 2 ships shooting at each other. Like, this doesn't feel right. And that was what we said after we watched Predator 2. It was just like, that felt like a Predator movie. The Predator, like, didn't feel... Nothing about it felt like a Predator movie. And part of the ending was a reshoot. That whole ending apparently were reshoots. Like, but I think when they're in the like the jungle and it's picking them off.
Yeah.
And then the really silly bit when they're on the spaceship where they're like miles away and Olivia Munn manages to catch up somehow because she's wearing Converse and
Converse.
But apparently, so that was really shot. And there's a character that dies. I don't know if you remember. I can't remember the name. He's like the evil government agent. He's like chewing gum all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
The only guy getting the plot to progress. He kills himself by accident. But you blink and you miss it. Like, Kitty didn't see it. When we watched Half in the Bag, Mike didn't spot it, but Jay did. So he's got like the shoulder cannon. He's like trying to fire at it. And then Olivia Munn says something. He looks. It turns around and then he like just shoots his face off. But it's like such a weird split second, and you go, what? Is he dead? What the fuck? But apparently that was all reshoots, and then we should Half in the Bag, and Jay reveals what the original ending finale was going to be. I waited to see that movie. It was our ragtag group of guys. They go to Area 52, no, Area 51, because Area 52 is cooler, right?
Yeah.
It's the sequel.
Yeah.
Goes to Area 52, where we find out they're a group of good predators that are already on the planet. And then some of the production shots I saw was them riding a tank. So you had Thomas Jane and some of these other characters riding a tank with good predators, like firing 50 cal machine guns. Like, oh, what is it? That looks stupid. It's better than the fucking shit we got. Right, so yeah, that was all cut. They were like, no, get rid of that.
Oh my god, this movie just hurts my head.
Like, it's stupid, it's dumb, but it might have been so silly. It might have made up for what we got right at the end, because the finale's really boring. It's monumentally boring. It's not exciting. Like, the fight is in no way exciting. Like, we've seen this big super predator like literally ripping people in half, and then when it's fighting generic dude and Olivia Munn, it's just like going. Ah.
I was actually fighting sleep in the last 20 minutes, but that's also partially because we went after work. I've started to not go after work to movies anymore because I was tired.
Well, also, it gets to that point where it's like, this finale, so all the side characters have to die.
Yeah, and they have to, like, those two soldiers like killed each other for each other because they have a relationship or something. It's weird.
It was so like Thomas Jane gets thrown and impaled on a branch. And his like intestines are hanging out. What's his name? It's those two American comedians, Key and Peele.
Yeah, it's Michael Key.
Key was in it.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, Michael Key.
Who I like.
He's funny, but his character was annoying. Because he was cracking jokes constantly. But so like he gets like slashed by it. And his like intestines are falling out, and all he's going, oh. Like, no, I would either been saying nothing, because you'd be in shock, or you'd be screaming because your intestines are falling out. So he's like laying out, he's thinking, oh my god, and Thomas Jones is like, oh, well, I'm not getting out of this. And then they look at each other, they both raise a gun, and they both fire at the same time. Part of me,
damn, it's dumb.
Part of me thought, like, they're gonna miss, like, and I'd laugh if they missed. They're like, they just slump.
Yeah,
like. It would have been dumb, and it again would have ruined the atmosphere. But that might have been genuinely funny if it's like it's so cliched, like, we'll both kill each other, my friend.
Yeah,
it's like, bang!
It's a massive cliche that's aiming for, kind of emotional notes of, oh, they're friends and they're going to see each other out of the world, I guess. But it fails because the whole movie has been like this goofy action comedy until that point. So the only way it could have succeeded is, like you said, just go full goof.
Yeah, like, oh.
Never go full goof.
Like, they both miss, and then they both laugh together. Like that, I think that would have been far better than going,
more tonally apt to what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because then it's like, hey, they'd laugh together one final time. That's better than fucking shooting each other. But weird movie, but yeah, predators want to steal autistic people. They want to. That's literally what they do. Like, I'm not even doing like autism. That's not even what I'm doing. It's literally they spell it out. They want to steal autistic people. They want an army of autistic predators, basically.
Which I think kind of sums up.
I'm not even making a joke of it. That's literally the movie.
It's just. It's strange.
Oh, and they also do that weird thing where I thought they were playing it as a laugh at one point, but you know when they have the moment I'm not saying they glorify the military, but when they go like, oh, like we're so good. You know, like Michael Bay's like, oh, I fucking love the military. There's like one bit where they ask the main character's wife like, what kind of man is she? And she's like, what kind of man? And she like lists off all these things like, he's one hell of a soldier. I'm like, fucking not right. It's like he's a shitty husband and a terrible father, but damn it, he's one hell of a soldier. I'm like,
that's the thing to pride yourself
okay.
on. Also, I think we're losing Chris. We need to abort the Predator.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I've been dying over here, to be honest.
So let's
like, this shit sucks.
Let's
Is this what it's like when I talk about Final Fantasy? I'm so sorry.
So let's bring this.
Let's reanimate the podcast.
Fuck! That's what I was gonna say.
Oh boy.
That's what I was gonna fucking say.
Gotcha.
Never steal the king of Segway's thunder. Because
I fucking had it. It was
roll.
there. I was like, I've got this. Bastard.
Anyway, Tom, you chose.
I
this
sure
movie.
did. So I'd never seen Reanimator, but it was always one of those films that I heard about in the kind of vein of, first of all, it's H.P. Lovecraft loose adaptation. Also, you know, it's an 80s horror film, and I don't know why, but the 80s horror films appeal to me the most, more than anything else. They've just got a kind of even the ones I've never seen before, they have a kind of nostalgic vibe to them. It's hard to explain.
And it was also, I think at that moment was like when prosthetics looked as like really good.
Yeah, it's just before the start of CGI effects, so most of it is practical, which I think helps. Yeah, definitely.
Like they just figured certain things out. Like we've finally like got stuff looking pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that like I said, I think there's just more heart. Like they have a problem, they want to solve it. So it's like, how can we make like this dude look like he's being devoured by a thing that can turn into anything, like the movie The Thing. Well, how about we just melt a lot of bubble gum or something and have that sort of like, we make this amorphous blob sort of thing. Oh, that sounds awesome, yeah. And then they start coming up with more and more ideas instead of like, let Ted, the computer guy, handle it.
Yeah.
And Ted's like, oh, how about that?
I have visions of filmmaking getting to the point where it's like, okay, well, we'll shoot it against a blue screen because we're going to put the background in later, and we'll have the actor wear a blue suit because actually we're going to put in the character later because they're CGI as well. So we're just going to film a blue screen for all the takes.
Just like the Star Wars movies.
Oh, you mean like George Lucas just sat in his chair like...
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Like
Give my coffee.
This green circle all the way around, and then a green dais for them to stand on, or like a walkway, like a fashion model show. And it's like the two actors just like, we're Jedi, walk, talk, and then all this cool stuff just gonna add on top of it that you're not gonna do anything with.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, you just made me think of a really funny picture. I'll have to link it in the description now. Without going into detail, I saw Christopher Robin over the summer holiday. It was nice. It was a cute movie, and of course it's got Ewan McGregor in it, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and there's a picture where Winnie the Pooh is standing on a desktop above Ewan McGregor, looking down at him, and it says, "It's over, Christopher Robin. I have the high ground."
Oh yes.
Just makes me chuckle.
We all know that's like the number one way to win a sword fight.
It's over.
You cannot lose.
Oh no, my legs.
You cannot lose.
Yeah, but anyway, Reanimator. So.
Yeah, the point. We're there now.
Yes, this is one of the films that I bought earlier this year on Blu-ray because I forget what it was that we watched. Was it? Yeah, it was Life Force. And I was looking up Life Force because I thought, this film is glorious. I need to own it on Blu-ray because I would like to watch it again in better quality than whatever the YouTube rip thing that I watched was. And so there's a publisher in the UK. I think they might publish in America as well. They're called Arrow, and we've mentioned them before on the podcast because Matt was mentioning his
Awesome.
is it Return of the Living, not Return of the Living Dead.
It's because we secretly want a
Zombie flesh
sponsorship.
eaters.
Cheaters, that's it. Incidentally, Arrow, if you're interested, we will be covering a lot of your films. So maybe you could get involved with us. But
The movies.
good movies and good production, good releases as well. So good quality Blu-ray releases. They often have a cover that's reversible and things like that. So
there's a lot of love.
Yeah, there's a lot of love that goes into it. And they had a sale on in the summer, so I picked up Life Force and I picked up a couple of others. And in this sale, although it wasn't Arrow related, there was Reanimator. Well, I don't think, even if Arrow did a release, the release I have isn't Arrow, it's someone else. And the Blu-ray is black, and the artwork is amazing. So I grabbed this at the same time, and I thought I have to watch Reanimator because I've heard things about it. I want to watch it, so I picked it. Of course, not knowing about a couple of things that we'll talk about in due course about this movie. I sure can pick them.
Wasn't me this time.
But I will say one of the fun things about practical effects, as we were talking about practical effects, is I feel with CGI there's a lot of things that can be faked and tricked, and there's not a lot of effort that goes into it. But when I think about the scene in this movie where believe it's Dr. Hill has recently come back to life after being decapitated, and his body is lifting him up in the tray and walking around with him, the whole time you're sitting there thinking, oh, okay, so they had a guy, with, like this kind of, they shoot it from here so you can't see his head, and where they move the tray, that's a cut to an actual tray. All of those kind of little things I think I appreciate more, because I can go, oh, I can see, how you tricked that or how you did that. With CGI, it's just easy. It's just so easy to do it. Well, this was
just a guy with a blue thing on his head.
Yeah, these were guys who were doing it all practical. So I
mean, also that it works into I think the funniest moment in the film that actually had me laughing like hysterically out loud, which was when Dr. Hill's like, right, I've got to get back to the morgue so I can start doing some weird stuff with this reagent, and he has his body carrying him in like a bag, in a bag. He's like zip bag, and you're like, well, so he's like wearing scrubs. What was he doing? Then he like turns to the side and starts like shifting. You're like, what is he doing? And then the camera pans up. Oh no, the camera cuts to it, and it's wearing like this. Like the head statue that was in his office that's got like half of its face missing. It's just like this terrible.
And that's the other thing I didn't know about this film when I picked it, but I'm glad of, is that there is a strong comedic kind of like streak through this movie, which I really appreciated, because if it was just, and it's funny because we've just been talking about The Predator, and how that kind of like fucks up its tone by being comedic, but I think that this kind of enhances itself by being kind of oddly dark and funny in places.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that one movie you chose, that other Peter Jackson film.
Oh
yeah, Brain Dead.
Where everything just goes fucking wrong. It's similar, like, because like I wouldn't want to be in that situation either. That is horrific with all of the massacre in the mansion, but it's delivered with comedy in mind. So it still balances that horror comedy vibe pretty well. This movie did that as well, like pretty strongly. Like I don't like much of the way. I mean, you guys enjoy Arrow movies, but I would never purchase them. I don't want to ever watch them again. I'm not like into that. But I was having fun with this. I was just like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like how like Herbert West was he the one who was reanimating, or is that
Herbert West? Yeah,
that's right. And he has the reagent and all kinds of stuff, and it's lighthearted and funny and weird and bizarre, and I'm just like, what's gonna happen next the whole time? And like the characters are kind of like Twin Peaks-esque, where they're just like characterized a little bit.
It's a bit melodramatic, which kind of adds to the fun of it. And the other thing I like is that the main character, is it Dan Cain or something? His name's
Dan Cain.
Yeah, something Cain.
I was reading, and although, like we said already, it's very loosely based on the Lovecraft story. The Lovecraft story doesn't actually follow. Like, the main character is not Herbert West. It's a friend who helps Herbert West and eventually gets kind of trapped in being his slave because they're in it together, kind of thing. And I like that this movie also does that. Even though Herbert West is clearly the focus, you're seeing it through a secondary character, which I really like, because Herbert West is very likable and unlikable at the same time. He's pompous, he's arrogant, he's very much kind of full of himself and how great he is.
He's in the movie just enough.
Everything.
But his core, like, he actually is trying to help people.
Yeah, he's trying to
frustrated
solve death.
That no one wants to help him help people. So that's what kind of like gives him the evil edge, because he's like, well, fuck everybody. I will save the world. If no one will help me, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, so that's right at the beginning, isn't it? It's like when is it Dr. Gruber, and they're like, who killed him? He's like, I gave him life. Like, no, he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Well, one thing I should say before we carry on is that there are a couple of versions of this movie, different cuts.
Yeah, I've just found that out.
Yeah, and we probably, for the most part, will be able to talk about the movie, but we probably all watch separate cuts. This Blu-ray that I've got has got kind of two versions. It's got the unrated version and the integral version. The one that I ended up watching was the integral version, mainly because it was the longest version, so I figured that there must be extra stuff in it. So if I ever start talking about something that you're like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't fucking see that scene, what are you talking about? That's probably what's happened.
I just had the bog standard theatrical one.
Yeah, I don't think you missed much.
Well, there's stuff with Dr. Hill that they cut out, which makes one scene in particular makes so much more sense.
Yeah. I know the bit you're talking about. It's this whole kind of subplot in that he can persuade people and kind of has hypnosis powers.
Yeah, it seems like he can like manipulate them, which is because there's that one scene where when he's looking down at Herbert and he's just like saying, "You're going to do this," and West looks pretty much mesmerised, isn't he? Like he's just like staring, I'll do this, and then kind of snaps out of it. It's like, oh, that makes sense now. Thank you for cutting that out. And it's silly, but the rest of the movie is fucking silly.
Yeah, you can't take any of it seriously from the get-go.
Yeah, and also like apparently in some of the cutscenes, like it shows Herbert West like injecting himself with the serum to like keep himself awake.
Yeah.
Which then explains why he's a fucking bag of nerves at times. Like he's going a bit crazy.
That makes sense then. Yeah, because there definitely were those scenes in my one that I watched. He was kind of giving himself small doses of it to keep himself awake and alert.
Yeah.
And he was having withdrawals without it. So.
Yeah, that's not in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense because it provides you the information that why is he unhinged? Oh, maybe it's because he's getting high off his own supply a little bit.
Exactly. So. Yeah, there's other stuff like some of the gore as well. Like it also apparently the whole hypnosis thing. I was reading like it shows Dr. Hill using it on
the Dean?
Hansley.
Yeah, the Dean.
Yeah, so and that's why he ends up fucking because the whole thing with him just like fucking hating Dan Cain. Like really does. It's like okay, he's annoyed at him because he's like, you're talking crazy and you're with my daughter, blah blah. But then he gets like really extreme. He's like, I will take away your loan and I fucking suspending you. Like what the fuck?
I imagine it must be very difficult to understand why he does that flip without seeing the scene that I saw, which is basically where they very kind of like overtly have Dr. Hill staring into his eyes and going, "No, Dan Cain's a dick. Get rid of him." And he's like,
so the version
I
we watched
better get rid of him.
Yeah, we didn't have that, so we're like, he's going a bit extreme.
That's confusing.
Yeah, we're like, that's a bit extreme. Yeah, so thank you for doing that. Thanks for cutting that out, guys. And also,
So wait, Dr. Hill, the neurologist guy, he can hypnotize people?
Yeah.
Yeah, or he's like, he can like manipulate people.
It's not explained in that they don't sit there and go, oh, he worked out how to do this, or he has powers or something. That bit's not explained. It's more just you get a context of him doing it to other people, so that you can see that it's kind of established he has this skill, not necessarily where it's from.
And it would make the ending have more threat as well, because like we have to stop him because he'll just.
I tell you what,
take over the world.
It's his fucking charisma stat. It's like through the roof. He can just tell people, "No, you."
Oh, he's my character from Fallout 3.
Yeah.
You should do this. I should. That's a good idea. I should get rid of Dan Cain. I will say, is it Bob Gale that played Dr. Hill? I think it was Bob Gale.
I think so.
David Gale. Bob Gale is someone completely different. I think Bob Gale's the guy who worked on Back to the Future, I believe. There's a completely different person. I thought David Gale was fucking wonderfully unsettling and creepy as Dr. Hill. Like, there's that one moment when because he doesn't. It's obviously hinted at that he really likes Hansley's daughter. Like, yeah, he likes her, but it's not too in your face, but like he just like the subtle things he says, like that's unsettling, that's creepy.
Yeah,
like the way he was just talking, he's like, oh, he's like, because he's toasting, so to toast like and Cain, who's been mesmerised by her beauty as anyone would, and it cuts to Alice, and she's like, that's fucking creepy. Stop saying that. Like, you're creepy, man. Like, it's not too in your face. And like, it just progresses, and then you find he's got a file on her, and he's got like the lock of hair.
Yeah,
like, that's fucking so creepy. Like, all of a sudden, like in this movie that's like so over the top with gore and a bit of slapstick in places, and really violent, and it's just like that little small thing was genuinely unsettling. Like, that is really fucking creepy.
Yeah, because like throughout the movie, you kind of feel like Herbert West is the bad guy because of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like dealing with murder and all that kind of stuff. But then it like flips up, and Dr. Hill's really the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like
you don't even know he's the bad guy until like the end of the movie, which is pretty well written. If you ask me, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because again, like it's well done, because they do hint at it early. Like, Herbert keeps accusing him of being a hack, basically. He's like, you ripped off Gruber's research, like, you didn't, that's not yours, that's Gruber's, and you like bastardized it, like, he knew more than you ever did. And he keeps saying it, and then you find out at the end, he is, because he tries to steal Herbert's serum. It's like, he was right, he is a piece of shit that keeps stealing everyone else's research.
This is the perfect time for me to bring up my favourite quote of the movie. Because I really like Herbert West, despite the fact that obviously you're supposed to not like him and like him. I ended up liking him more than not. Even though, he probably did kill that cat, and he probably, did do some dodgy shit and shouldn't have been able to do that. But let me find the quote, because it's beautiful. It's when he comes in at the end, and he says, I must say, Dr. Hill, I'm very disappointed in you. You steal the secret of life and death, and here you are trysting with a bubble-headed co-ed. You're not even a second-rate scientist.
And it helps as well. I think what helps...
His delivery is perfect.
Is great. And Jeffrey Combs is... I love Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs is always, like, fully entertaining. Like, he can be so wacky. He's very good at playing... At going from being, like, really serious, and at times he's very, very creepy as well. Very unsettling. And then, but he can be really wacky, and that's just... Jeffrey Combs has always been good at that. Like, he's... I don't think we haven't picked the podcast, we might do it at some point, but Peter Jackson's The Frighteners.
I remember The Frighteners, although I don't remember him in it, like, greatly. I know you told me he's like is he the bad guy? The main bad guy?
No, he's not the main bad guy. He's kind of like a secondary... He's kind of a secondary antagonist, I suppose, but he's not outwardly evil. He's just surprise mental, but he's like an FBI agent. And he's like really jumpy, because he basically gets all the weird cases. Like he had to like infiltrate like weird satanic cults. He infiltrated like the Manson family and stuff like that. And he's a little jungle, he's a little weird, and he's got a strange haircut. And at one point, the main female character, she's like getting really angry, and she starts shouting, and he starts like getting really nauseous and runs away and starts throwing up in the bathroom. And the sheriff goes in, he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, I'm fine. He goes, "I just have a problem with women yelling."
I need to watch that now, knowing it's him, because I've seen that movie before, but it's been a while, so
yeah, he's always very entertaining when he's in anything. He's actually in, because Stuart Gordon directed this, and Stuart Gordon has made some really entertaining stuff, really talented, really underrated, I think. He made From the Beyond, not The Beyond, not the Lucio Fulci movie.
Mm-hmm.
He made From Beyond, I think it's called.
It's called From Beyond, because it's another one of those Blu-rays that I picked up during that sale.
Yeah, it's good. I've seen it. It's good. It's also based off of a H.P. Lovecraft story.
The cover is gnarly,
it's mental.
The back has got a screenshot of this like fleshy, meaty man with white eyes, like wide open in a grin, and I was like, "Yeah, that looks like my kind of movie."
It's a fun movie. Jeffrey Combs is in that as well, and he's kind of unhinged. He's the main character in he's basically the main character in that. And he's very good again, but that's based off of H.P. Lovecraft, and by based off, I mean the prologue is the entire short story. It's pretty much the entire short story. But that's good. And yeah, Jeffrey Combs is great, and Stuart Gordon. You might have heard of some of these. I don't think Chris would have done, but From Beyond, he did. Did you see Robot Jocks?
No.
Oh, he directed Robot Jocks. That's fun. Fun movie. Fortress.
No.
Starring Christopher Lambert. That's a really fun movie. Jeffrey Combs is in that again. Yeah, Christopher Lambert. Fortress is really entertaining, and incidentally, Jeffrey Combs is in that as well. And Space Truckers, starring Dennis Hopper and Stephen Dorff.
Wow.
Space Truckers is fun. It's mental, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, Stuart Gordon's done a load of good shit. He wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
like all these kind of things just come out. It's that person did this. It's like
yeah,
that kind of makes sense.
What? Like he did one. Like, yeah, he wrote Honey, I Shrunk. That's fucking weird. It's really strange. He did a remake of The Pit and the Pendulum. Interesting. But yeah, so
I will say that was it Jeffrey Combs? Is that his name? The guy? Yeah. His performance in this really made me. If the movie had not been so great, I still would want to check out the other ones and anything else he's done because of his performance in this. It really kind of. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think he nailed the character in terms of being arrogant, but also. What's the word? Yeah, like Chris said, not the actual main monster. Like,
yeah, he's not a good guy, but he's not evil. He has really good intentions. Like he really wants to create something that will help people stay alive. Whereas Dr. Hill is inherently fucking evil, and morally corrupt. Whereas Herbert West, he does horrible things, but he's not doing them because aha, I'm a monster. Ha ha ha. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's more kind of an ends justify the means kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, look, it's bad, but I have to do this, otherwise I'm never going to make a breakthrough.
Yeah, but he's
not going to use.
He is also a chancer because they kill the Dean by accident. The Dean gets killed by that zombie that comes back, and his first thought is like, shit, get the serum. This body's super fresh. Here we go.
Because it's like. And then at the same time, because obviously Dan Cain's character he's basically the audience. Like, you're seeing it all through, experienced all this through his eyes. I mean, not every scene, but basically you as the audience is along for this crazy ride with Herbert West. He's dragging you into it along with Dean Cain, not Dean Cain, Superman. With Dan Cain. But again, the thing is because. When his theory was like, no, the guy came back crazy because he'd been dead for 12 hours. We need someone fresher. He's like, well, help me with the Dean. We can bring him back to life. Maybe he'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, might as well try it, I guess.
Well, I think first, Dan's kind of he's not shell shocked, but he's sat there and he's like, I don't know, I can't do this. And then, Herbert West is kind of like, no, we need to. Kind of subtly coerce him, and then he's like, "Oh, okay," and then he goes along with it. I really like that kind of aspect of the character. Is he's interested in West's theories and the idea of bringing back life, but he's not quite as prepared as Herbert is to go past some of the the boundaries, as it were. But he's been pulled along with it because
but also because it does. Fit in with his character because it's a very subtle thing, but right at the beginning we show him he's desperately trying to get that woman breathing again. He wants to get her heart moving. He's trying to save this person when she's flatlined. So it's he probably he knows it's wrong, but deep down he's like, every doctor wants to save people.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that it came full circle at the end as well as a kind of a narrative device.
As soon as they all left the room, I turned to Kate and was like, he took the bag with him. And he looks, he's like, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. Well, I guess this must be. I don't know when Stephen King wrote Pet Sematary, but there's a similar kind of idea in Pet Sematary. It's about someone knows that bringing back people is wrong, but the grief and the desire to have the loved one back just overrides reason.
And also, it's like, maybe it'll be alright this time.
maybe.
I didn't take too long. That's a line, isn't it? I know it's in the movie. He's like, it'll be alright. I didn't take too long this time. It'll be okay. Yeah. It's like, I suppose you could be like, do you know they're remaking that?
Pet Sematary, yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I found out like the other day. It's like, here's a screenshot. I'm like, what?
It's got what's the guy's name? I forget the actor's name, but he was in. Folks, this is a senior moment happening live on the podcast. I can't remember the guy's name. Is it John? No.
Jason Clarke?
No, he's playing...
John Lithgow.
Yes, John Lithgow, that's it.
He's playing Judd Crandall, that's great. Oh, I don't want to go up that road.
Because I don't know if you've seen the original Pet Sematary, but...
I have.
The old neighbour in that is played by the guy who played one of the monsters. The main monster.
Yeah, Herman Munster.
I think his name's Fred Gwynn. And he's a really... I love that guy and I love his accent, so Pet Sematary has a special place in my heart because of him.
Yeah. Well, obviously the creators like Trey Parker and Matt Stone clearly adore that as well because whenever they can, they like his character as Judd is in South Park. It's like, Starch, I heard about your kid. Don't want to take him down to the Pet Sematary. It's like, who are you? And he's like, that Pet Sematary just down the road. He goes, I didn't even know there was one there. And he's like, don't use it. Don't use it, Starch. The ground there's gone saw. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's another one where Butters is lost and he finds Judd and he's like, oh, you want to go back to South Park? Oh, I'm afraid to go back to South Park. You go down that road. Was it down that road? No, it's down that road. You don't want to go down that road. That's where like 13 teenagers were killed by Indian monsters. And then he goes down there and it's like a predator. And he's like, oh, is South Park down that road? But yeah, they keep bringing the character of Judd into it. And it's amazing. But I'm all for John Lithgow playing Judd Crandall and Jason Clarke as well. I mean, Jason Clarke's he's a good enough actor. He was trying to make Terminator Genesis fun. He played John Connor.
Yes,
I remember. Trying to make it fun.
I remember Genesis. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I hate it. But I was laughing towards the end though because I was like, I can't. It went beyond annoying me to the point this is so bad. It's hilarious because I cannot believe they got away making this piece of shit movie. And also, whoever created the trailer should be fired because he ruined a major plot twist.
John Connor being evil?
Yeah. That was in the trailer. It's that happens halfway through the movie. Where to that'd have been really, if no one knew that. That'd have been really. It's still kind of silly, but if no one knew that'd have been really cool. They didn't show Matt Smith attacking him. Just.
Oh yeah, Matt Smith's in that movie.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Anyway, stop talking about him. He's back. Chris
has returned.
He has returned. But yes, that's Reanimator. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll.
Well, we still haven't talked about that scene, and I think we're going to have to talk about that scene a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
So
and a million fan fictions were created after
that.
I hope not, but I know the internet's the worst place in the world, so
it's there somewhere.
That's been true.
I'm sure someone gets up on that.
I don't know if it's just me, but there seems to be...
Oh, it's you! Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew it!
It's always one.
There's something about 80s films, to me, I'd probably just nostalgia talking, but it's kind of those things where when you're a kid growing up, maybe 10 to 15 or something, you hear people talk about the things in movies, in that movie, someone shoots someone in the head and it explodes, or in that movie,
scanners.
This person gets their tits out and there's a 3-way orgy or something. Those things that get passed around on the playground, in this movie, there's that. And Nightmare on Elm Street and things like that, the interesting deaths and things like that, they get kind of passed around as urban legends. You need to see that movie because that happens in it. And I feel like this movie's version of that is, there's a bit where a disembodied head almost performs cunnilingus on a lady who really doesn't want that to happen.
Right.
And I feel like, in part, I can understand why it's in there. It's in there to show how depraved the Dr. Hill is. It's in there to add up the ham and the comedy. I say comedy about sexual assault, but like kind of
but back then it was.
Back then it was.
Back then it was like, oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wacky,
funny.
zany sexual assault.
Yeah, she would really hate it. Kind of like a. You know,
it's just a prank, bro.
We should put like some grease in this guy's glove, so when he puts his hand in the glove, he's got grease all over his hand. And wouldn't he hate that?
Oh,
we should do that because it'd be so funny. That's the thing. It's like there's this weird mentality about pranks that I never quite understood. But like someone's like, he would hate this, so I'm gonna do it to him, and then I will laugh all by myself. You know?
Yeah.
And this scene is similar to that, because it's like, it wouldn't be like so crazy if he was just like, I'm fully functional in every way imaginable, and I'm still gonna do what I want to do. As a disembodied head.
The only thing I can think of is that he was so attracted to her in life that when he dies and is brought back, he realizes that actually I need to seize the moment.
It was like, I suppose it's like he's already, it's there anyway that he's obsessed with her and it's creepy, and it's almost like because this has happened, it's the shackles off. Cause he's like, what am I going to do? Get arrested?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of he's a disembodied head at this point. It's kind of
He's mad with
your
power.
argument is invalid.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a shame though. Like the scene would have been fine if they didn't do the whole like between the legs thing. You know, he just had her strapped down, and like you could insinuate, which is just as effective, that he wants to do all those things. You don't actually have to see it. Kind of like when you're talking about Venom, where like there was decapitations, but it was always cutting away at just the right moment. Is that a pun? Anyway, cutting away at just the right moment. And yeah, that's perfect. That's just as effective, because otherwise you're talking about like, Uncle George had his head cut off by some weird alien the other day. Oh really? Yeah, it's terrible. You know, you bring in too much reality to the situation when you put it on camera for too long.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I think it's because I guess they'd already got her signed up to do full frontal or whatever for the movie. They're kind of like, fuck it,
maximize the contract.
We've got the lady, we've got the head, let's do this.
Well, Barbara Crampton is in the other movie based on H.P. Lovecraft that Stuart Gordon made. She's in From Beyond as well.
Okay.
So I don't think she's too squeamish about doing certain things.
Oh, okay.
And some people are not. So that's the other thing too. Is like there's a whole group of people out there who, and whatever. I mean, it's fine if you like what you like, but like who really like horror stuff, like deeply, like just like going to horror conventions and all that kind of stuff. And then you have those people who just would love to be in a scene, any scene. Yeah, sure, I'll do the bold stuff. I don't care. I love being in movies, or I would love to do horror stuff. I don't know, it's just not me. But then that's not. It's not a judgment call. It's like I have like this weird thing where I don't even like makeup on people because it makes me weirded out. I'm like, I can't identify you anymore by your face because you got stuff on you. So that's me. So yeah. Anyway, weird people.
I mean,
are we weird people?
I'm proud. No,
I think that's the follow-up right there.
Well, I will just hasten to add again that I didn't pick this movie because of that scene. I picked this movie and then found out about that scene.
For me.
Yeah,
everyone's kind of like, I'm sorry. Whoops.
Honest officer, I didn't know. Head just fell there. I mean, I think it's because the way it's shot as well. I think it's probably a scene that was not better in the cinema, but I think more effective in the cinema because it's one of those moments where the audience as a whole is going, oh no, and they go, thank God someone came in there.
Yeah, everyone's like combination cringe, like
no.
And then afterwards, like, man, did you see that shit? That was so crazy. And then, you know, because everyone then is just sort of like, this is fake. It's just a movie. I will say, it's not actual sexual assault.
Well, one thing that it did do that actually assisted a scene straight afterwards is because of that, it distracted me so much. I completely forgot that any other bodies were in the room.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, we're going to stop you, and they all sat up, I was like, oh shit, yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Because I was so distracted by the head thing.
When I first saw the morgue, and the security guard's like, you know, it's so weird we keep that locked up. Like, everyone goes in, but nobody ever gets out. I was like, oh, that's going to be a problem.
I just want to say
Oh,
that security
that
guard is the MVP of this movie.
He's great.
The highlight of his day is going, oh, I'm gonna whack off at work.
Riffle wank.
He's living the dream.
Coffee break. And you know what? Yeah. I even like the fact, because I was like, no, I don't like. I still liked. I thought he was quite a likable character. And then when he sees all that shit, and he's like, "No, I'm good, mate," and he just fucking runs. He's like, because he looks and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then the head gets thrown across and just splats on the wall, and that's when he's like, "Nope."
No pension is worth this.
No, he's like. And he noped out of the movie, and it's that whole final climactic sequence is a ton of fun. Yeah, ton of fun. It's mental. It's crazy. There's lots of nudity. There's all kinds of dicks and tits everywhere.
It's completely across the board. Everyone's nude, and that's fine because they're corpses. They don't need clothes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole thing. I was like, how are they gonna get out of this? Because the rules for the zombies in this movie are that they're basically super He-Mans.
Yeah, and they just murder everything.
Z and Zermans. So they just lift and throw and chase and how are they ever going to survive? And then Herbert West is like, I've got a great idea. Let's make this problem way worse. Overdoses on Hill, I believe, or somebody.
Yep.
Who was that?
Yeah, it's Hill's body.
Yeah,
because his head gets crushed. Which was
it's
so brutal. I loved it. It's it goes to the eyes. Oh, the eyes! Fucking hell! It's like that bit in Game of Thrones where he crushes his face.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's all falling down. There's chaos. They're attacking each other. And then so you sound Wes I've got this. I'll give him an overdose because remember again at the start of the movie he speculates that he gave Gruber too much and that's why his eyes popped. He's like, oh, I've it's gonna be great. And the other one swords in. It's a cool visual.
That's true.
And then it kind of works, but then his chest it pops open and his intestines come out. I'm like, you know what? I got no problems with this. I'm fully on board. I can't complain. It's a cool visual. It's visually cool.
Yeah, of the movies of this type that we have watched, I would watch this one again.
Yeah, I want to watch the unrated one. I want to watch the integral one. I'd watch this one
again with a new audience. I'd watch it with my fiance. I'd watch it with my 5-year-old niece. No, I wouldn't. Hey, Sarah, what did you think about that scene?
Do you like the disembodied head?
Yeah. I just give her so many nightmares.
It's just really fun. And again, we were saying about how Herbert's, he's not a super villain, I will take over the world. Because obviously, you think, well, he's going to die. It's going to be, because he's either going to get choked to death by the intestines, or the smoke from the room. Because I think when the zombies drops, she knocks some acid on the floor, and all the smoke is just there's loads of smoke, and everyone's the alive people are struggling to breathe because of it. But it's he grabs his bag and he goes, my notes, and he throws it at Dean Cain. I did it again. Not Superman. Dan Cain. Dean Cain's Superman. That'd be an interesting movie. But he throws he goes, my notes, and he throws it because he wants the research is what's important, and he wants his research to carry on because he wants to save people. And I like that. It's good. And then Dan Cain does the wrong thing at the end. But it's just all chaotic and it's just so fun. And I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember now when you said the intestines come out, I was like, I don't really remember any of this with Hill. But no, what you mean is that after the overdose, his literal intestines came out like tentacles and wrapped around Herbert West, and it was just holding him down. What the fuck? Yeah. And even then he was just my notes. Save them. I'm going to die here. This is fine. I don't care about this. But carry on the research.
He's you got to carry it on, Dan. And he did it again. Not Dean Cain. I'm sorry, Dean Cain. Sorry, Superman.
Cain.
That's a movie I want to see. It's they're going to reboot it like they're rebooting fucking everything. We're rebooting Reanimator. It's going to be called Reanimator. I'm looking. Okay.
No.
Bit of a tangent. Reanimators. There we go. It's Herbert West's family, the Wests. It's going to be a family of Wests.
Yes,
and they're all played by Jeffrey Combs.
He's going to be the hero.
Yeah. They're all played by Jeffrey Combs, including his wife, including his daughter. It's going to be like Back to the Future 2, where Michael J. Fox plays his daughter, which is such a good visual gag.
Yeah.
It's not funny because, you know, like, it's just like, why is Michael J. Fox playing his daughter?
They couldn't get anyone else. They had to have him. You put this on.
Like, that's just really funny.
Fox just lost a bet,
like,
is what it was.
And also, it's just funny because it's like, all his kids look like him. But yeah, so the whole family's played by Jeffrey Combs, except Dan Cain's not back in it. He's his son, Dean Cain, but played by Dean Cain. And it is Dean Cain, the actor, playing himself. There we go. You got it, Hollywood. It's your next reboot.
The problem is then
got any
you'll
other
start
ideas?
calling him Dan Cain instead of Dean Cain, getting really mixed up.
Exactly.
Now that it's Dean
And
Cain.
I'd be really, and then Dean Cain would be like, "Fuck's sake, Matt, I can't win."
Yeah.
Thanks,
Watching
Matt.
our podcast.
You've ruined my career, you bitch. And so what they'll do, but then they'll have like, it'll be no, don't you understand? We're trying to stop global warming. That's what it'll be. And then there'll be like a super evil Herbert West who's like 11 feet tall, and he comes in, and one of the West kids is autistic, and he's like, I'm gonna steal his autism.
And he has dogs, but they all wear white coats like him.
Yeah, and the glasses. And you know what? And this movie would be less dumb than The Predator, because that kind of stupidity would work in this universe. So,
actually, a lot of those details are still in the H.P. Lovecraft short story. So.
Yep. Well, the thing is, like, I would say I feel bad for Shane Black. Like, I don't want to get on Shane Black's back, but I kind of do, because he's friends with a registered sex offender, and put him in his movie. So fuck you, Shane Black.
Oh, I didn't know about this controversy.
Oh yeah, his scenes were cut.
Oh, okay.
We know when Olivia Munn was introduced to the movie, and she's just kind of there in a park. They're like, "We'll look after your dog," and actually, has a dog. She had a scene with this jogger, and they ended up cutting the scenes because it was this guy, and he's like a registered sex offender. He was convicted of trying to liaise with a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and Fox didn't know until Olivia Munn found out, and she went, "I want my scenes with him cut, please." And I went, "Well, why?" And she went, "Because this and this and this."
Yeah, Fox
Yeah, we
like,
should probably cut his scene, shouldn't we?
okay.
Fox like,
Fair
"No,
enough.
I'm good. Yeah, we didn't actually fucking know that." And Shane Black defended it and then apologised. So yeah,
It's so weird because
really weird, because Shane Black usually comes across like Shane Black seems like a nice guy, but I suppose he just really likes his friend, even if he is a sex offender. Oh.
So anyway, that was Reanimator. I am looking forward to watching the other two, Bride of Reanimator.
I want to see the other two.
Beyond Reanimator.
I think Bride is a direct sequel, because I think Dan Cain's in it again, like the character Dan Cain's in it again.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure about Beyond, because Beyond came out in like 2003. Because I remember when that came out.
Well, the thing I was reading about them is that apparently Bride of Reanimator, like the original short story, was published in kind of like a serial parts, and this first movie was based on the former half, and then Bride of Reanimator is based on the latter half. And the reason why Beyond Reanimator is called that is because it goes beyond the scope of the original story. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's I think it's not Stuart Gordon. Stuart Gordon didn't make them, but Brian Usna directed them, and he produced Reanimator, and he produced From Beyond as well. Like, he worked a lot with Stuart Gordon. So I think Brian Usna made it's a film that I've really wanted to see for a while, Society, which is really weird. I've seen like some scenes of the special effects, and it's fucking bonkers. But yeah, I want to see the sequels to this. I know they were trying. There were rumours at one point, 2008, they were going to make another one. It was going to be like Herbert West was like President of the United States while he worked at the White House or something. I was like, that sounds amazing. I know they made a musical.
Oh, they always
musical.
There's like every time we look up one of these films, it's like they made a musical.
What?
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
that could
the
work,
weird
though.
people, and I don't mean weird with a negative connotation. I mean they're just different from normal people. Like, I know Little Shop of Horrors is a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And, like, that was a movie that I happened to peep when I was 5 or 6 years old by accident, and I was like traumatized by that for like a long time. So, and yeah, like, I can't even imagine being in a theater watching a play and then seeing like big, massive plant monster animated on stage.
Probably
And
badass
just being
as
like,
well.
yeah, everybody, this is great. Why are we doing this? I gotta get the fuck out of here. You know?
Well, you
I
always
reckon
find that
something like
someone's
Reanimator could
put
be a lot of
some
fun.
kind of production on. I mean, I was shocked to find that Carrie had, like, I believe it was a musical, or if not, it was a play version. Yeah.
I can see it working as
And
a
it
play.
failed, but big time. It was like a major flop.
Yeah,
I need to
bet it was.
Google that, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
See, because I did it with Evil Dead as well. Something like Evil Dead or Reanimator can work as a really silly, funny, entertaining musical because it's already silly anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not really muddying the source material, and I imagine that would be
Carrie
really
the
fun to
musical
see on
exists,
stage.
by the way, just so I'm just confirming it. Yeah.
That is not the type of story you want to adapt to a musical. No.
I want to know what the songs are.
That's
YouTube. Yeah. I'm sure someone's got like a cell phone recording of it.
It'd be like we're gonna make a musical Robocop. Just like Alex Murphy's just like and like fucking destroy these on flies off into the crowd like fuck!
That would be fucking awesome though.
Like,
no, seriously, like you have Robocop doing his thing, like he's like capping perps or whatever, but in the background you have like a metal band just like fucking He's like, thank you for your cooperation.
like yeah, like a fucking rock
I'd
concert.
be like, yes, 2 hours of this. 2 hours of it. Don't stop. Amuse me.
I've got a weekend. Keep going.
Got a weekend.
But oh my god. No, I do agree with Tom though. I do want to check out the sequels to this because it's fun. I don't think obviously it's got a huge cult following and I think it was like critically like for a movie of its type in the 80s as well, and considering how violent it is, like critically it was up there. Like I read that even Roger Ebert loved it, and Roger Ebert is one of those critics. Like I liked Roger Ebert, but he tended to hate horror films quite a lot.
Yeah.
But even he was like, no, this was like he was like, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. It was really fun.
Yeah, kind of like how I felt. You know,
yeah,
I'm not much for horror movies, but I really enjoyed this.
It's a lot of fun. I definitely want to check out the the sequels as well. Because I haven't heard. It's not one of those things where you hear like, oh, they just get worse and they get really bad. I just heard, yeah, they're quite good. They're fun. It's more of the same. It's like, hey, what's not to like? I want more of the same. I want more Jeffrey Combs.
Well, and we've mentioned 3 times From Beyond, so I think that's probably next time I want to scratch that kind of like 80s Lovecraft itch. I think that would probably be what I pick.
Fun,
yeah,
it's fun. I just want to add one little thing. Like we were talking about it when we watched Predator 2 last night as well. I know it's all they did was just they added something to the liquid, but I love how vibrant and alien like the serum looks. Like it's just little things like that in a movie where it's like it looks so weird that all they added was just something so it shows up on camera basically, so it looks really fluorescent. But it makes it's like little thing just makes it look otherworldly, and it's like, ooh, that's special.
Yeah.
Even if I did make a joke that it looked like Mountain Dew, it's like that's just his Mountain Dew. Put it away.
That would explain
like
a lot.
Things like that. Just like, it's very solid.
I know what you mean though.
It's so much sugar.
I think that comes from the whole thing we were talking about, practical effects. And I think I read that this is the first use of glow, because it was glow stick, like the fluorescent material getting glow sticks. Apparently, it was the first time that it was used kind of on film in this kind of way. So,
but it just looks cool. It's so
iconic.
simple. But it really adds. It really adds to just the look. It makes it look.
I mean, only our viewers can see this, but you know that the shade on this cover is all that green because it's so kind of iconic.
Yeah. And it's like because there's that really good shot, isn't there? When I think it's when just before he brings Dr. Hill's head back, and he's holding the vial up, and obviously they obviously put a light on him as well, but it's like his face is like illuminated green. And it looks cool. I like things like that. They're fun.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying before, where like they just cared. They had a problem, they solved it. Now, I'm not saying they had a problem, but like, okay, how can we make this stuff look like really creepy or like whatever? What about glow sticks? Like yeah, sure, let's just cut those open and pour it in, and whatever. Now we have this really cool thing. This is going to look amazing on camera.
Yeah,
and it does. It looks great. It's a simple thing, but it works.
Yeah, instead of like here's a blue thing to hold in your hand that we're going to copy over with CGI later, so it looks super crazy. And it's like, this is lazy.
So what am I looking at? It's the vial. What color is it? The actors. A lot of actors want to know the details so they can fucking imagine it. They can get into it. It's it'd be fine. It's like there's a really funny. Mike's the Classer used it in one of his Plinkett reviews of one of Star Trek Next Generation, like TNG movies, and it's the director, and he's like it's all like a green screen. He's tapping it, going, "Look at this! You are looking at this thing. It's amazing." And he's like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" It's like a ball. Yeah. It's like a little green ball. And he's like, "It's amazing." Like, no, don't just say it's amazing. They go, "Oh, look at this! You're scared of this little ball." Oh, it's a monster. Give me something. Just it makes it's so the actors can react to it more. Obviously, like, actors should be able to react to what isn't there, obviously, but
yeah, that's their profession. But I mean, it used to be that
it helps them.
Props. Yeah,
it helps them, and it helps the audience.
Focus items.
It helps them, helps the audience. Like, that is a thing that is actually there because I know it's there because they're fucking holding it, and it's not like CGI like jumping up and down. It's not terrible blue screens, So
yeah,
but CGI's cheaper.
Cheaper, less waste, probably. I mean, that's one thing I would use as an argument against props, is that you have these props that you now have filmed, and now they are useless. What are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
Throw them in the trash. Or sell them on an auction, and then somebody else can throw them in the trash. They pay for that right.
Charity auction.
Yeah.
There you go. Bang. All money goes to a good cause. A huge fan of whatever it is gets some awesome memorabilia that they are going to treasure and look after. I don't know.
Instead, it's
I really want
here's the keyboard we made, like Revenge of the Sith on.
And this is the mouse I used when I moved the spaceship from there to there.
Look how worn this mouse is. We used it for the CGI.
That's where I spilled my coffee. That's what that mark is, and that is jelly donut. So it's like,
I hate jelly donut.
Yeah, so do I. They're horrible.
Anyway.
Nasty,
well,
evil.
It's Chris's turn, so
yeah. I've mentioned this game before on the podcast. I've played it 3 times. I don't remember why I like it, so I need your help. Help me figure this out. It's a game called The Cat Lady. It's one of the only times in my memory that a thumbnail on Steam sold the game to me. Because the thumbnails are pretty minimal. There's just like the word and some colors. Like Castle Crashers is like a pink background with rainbow text that says Castle and Crashers. What the fuck is that? Skip. But if you play Castle Crashers, it's this bizarre action beat 'em up game that's really worth your time if you haven't played it before. It's a lot of fun. But we're not playing Castle Crashers.
Boo.
The Cat Lady. That one, it's just a black background with just The Cat Lady in white text, and I was like, why the fuck would anyone make a game called The Cat Lady? So I clicked on it, and I was like really intrigued by the art style. And I know it's like that Monty Python like paper art style kind of where they have like those intermissions. That's sort of like animation, and I played it. I didn't think I'd even like it, but I played it. The horror game. I'm like, oh, I'm too scared. I'm too creeped out. Too easy for me to run from the game and play something else and blame something else. Oh, it's too late. I gotta go to bed. Or oh shoot, I gotta go to work. Or oh, is it dinner time? I guess I can't play this now. That kind of shit. But eventually, I just got into it so much that I played it through, and then I played it through again for the good ending, and then I played it through for a third time to record it. Which is on my YouTube channel, but it's no commentary and all that kind of stuff. But I actually do recommend playing it because there's experiences you can't really have by watching it, similar to like the VR situation with Resident Evil 7. Like some of the setups don't have payoffs if you're watching it in an automatic setting where somebody else is playing it. So there's only a couple things I know that we're gonna chew up. It's gonna be bad. There's some really bad like intermissions scenarios in the beginning. It's like it ramps up really quick and then it goes down for a long... It seems like a long time. The game's only 3 hours, so it's not really that long. For a long time. But then it spikes hard again really quickly and suddenly. And that's the kind of shit that kept me coming back to it, that I really want people to see. I don't know if it's good, though. I don't know if it's like a good design to do that. But it was very effective to me. I was just like, this guy's still talking. This guy's still talking. Please stop talking. What's the point of this? Why am I still playing a middle-aged Catwoman?
A Catwoman?
Sorry,
God damn it, Batman.
You know what I mean? And then it's just like, surprise horror! Oh my god! It was so crazy.
Surprise horror is the best horror. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Was it
I really want you guys to experience it with me and help me figure out what's good about it and what's bad.
Why do I like this?
There was also a prequel that was released afterwards. That actually no, there was a prequel that was released in the original order, I should say, but nobody played that. The Cat Lady came out. I played that, and then he remastered his prequel. And I don't know if he or she or whoever made the game is doing that anymore or making any more games. But it's a very unique experience. It's one of those like artsy games that actually has a game in it, though. So, yeah.
It's got
a little bit of the Telltale stuff. It's got a little bit of adventure puzzle solving stuff. Like you are put in a house in a situation where you don't want to be in that house, and you need to find your way out, similar to Resident Evil 7, and then it continues on from there. But that's where it goes back to a lulling point. But in the end, I really enjoyed the character. Oh, maybe I should give you a synopsis real quick instead of it just being about a cat lady, because I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. The Cat Lady stars a woman who is super lonely and kills herself.
Okay.
The end. No. She kills herself, and she goes to an afterlife and is given the chance to come back to life as a revenant.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, don't spoil me. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. She comes back as...
I watch the trailer on Steam if it's still up there. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it is. And it's just like it's awesome. Like there's one point where she's wearing a gas mask, and I'm like, fuck yes, gas masks are awesome, and they don't belong on cat ladies unless she like hates the smell of her house.
No,
but
they smell pretty bad.
Yeah, but she's also holding a shotgun, so maybe she hates cats too.
So I'm looking at the
different kind of cat lady.
I'm looking at the screenshots. Is it a point-and-click adventure game?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in. Good. I love point-and-click.
I mean, you use the keyboard to move though, but you do click on things to interact with them. So yeah.
Yeah, I can dig that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope you enjoy it. Then you can tell me why I do. So, yes, the Cat Lady. That's what I've chosen.
Okay, this is interesting. I looked up the voice cast, and Tom, you may recognise his name. David Firth is one of the characters in it.
Who's David Firth?
Famously the creator of Salad Fingers.
Oh yes.
What the fuck is the Salad Fingers? Is that like chicken
You've
fingers?
That's like old school
Fingers?
YouTube.
Yeah,
Well,
he's making a new one as well.
I think it was before YouTube. It was like Flash animation.
Ah.
He had a... He voiced a radio character in GTA 5.
Okay.
I need to listen to that station now.
Or just YouTube it.
Yeah, that's really
We
cool.
were saying
Yeah,
about this earlier though, that people just turn up in random places. You're like, oh, that's the guy who did this. Okay.
Good for him. Oh shit, good for him. Like seriously, he's a talented guy. Salad Fingers is still really funny, but like his other cartoons, like some of them are really fucking good. Like really weird. Like Salisbury, is it Salisbury Toast Boy?
I haven't seen that.
It's so
But
bizarre. Check out his stuff.
We'll put linkies below. I will also put a link to Chris's Let's Play of the Cat Lady in case if you can't play it. But yeah, strongly urge you to try it alongside us and see what you think.
Yeah, I mean it is edited down for time and efficiency and stuff. So
Cool.
But there's no commentary, and I do want to do another one maybe someday and add commentary to it.
You should. Definitely should.
Yeah, do it.
Now.
Come here. I am the cat lady. Let's fight. Roar.
Oh boy.
That scene with the gas mask and the shotgun is so awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's my choice, the cat lady.
Okay, so until next time, enjoy. Enjoy the cat lady.
Gotcha.
Make various mew noises, meows and stuff. Until next time, take care. See you later.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madicus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.